We're live. What's up, man? Here with Mikey. We got Laray coming on tonight. I was saying this to Mikey off air. So we invited Laray on earlier. I was saying this to Mikey off air. What's that? So we invited Laray on like a week ago, but since then, a lot of stuff has happened on Facebook. So I don't want to get too much into the drama, but maybe we can get a glimpse of what is going on with this.
Yeah,
because it was all over the place. And we're gonna start another podcast series soon called "What's Next for You," where me and Mikey are going to be co-hosts, and we're going to interview arm wrestlers of all levels. Some of the 2%ers, some of the 98%ers, and promoters. And I think that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I love it. I love that we're going to get the promoters involved as well. As well as like you said, the 98 and the 2. I think it's cool. It's a good mixture of everybody.
Yeah, I mean the promoters, I feel like don't ever get enough attention, like for all the hard work they put in. And I never, like when I was just arm wrestling, I didn't know how much work went into these tournaments, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of money. And most of us don't get paid to do that. It's just
very little reward. That's for sure.
Right. So it's like, it's fun, but you don't really get any return. But the return for me is the fun. Like I get to hang out with my friends.
Same.
Meet some cool people.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I hadn't gone down to Florida, like we might not be here right now.
It's true.
That's why I like going to other people's events, even if I'm not going to pull because of the fucking surgery. I just go to like support, hang out, walk around, troll people, make people laugh,
It's cool too to see how other events run. You can bring it back to your event, things you like, things you don't like. It's just going to make you better, as a promoter, as an arm wrestler.
Yeah.
There he is.
Here we go.
Sorry, fellas. Took me a minute to get in there.
Dude, so listen. When I invited you on the show, things had not blown up on Facebook yet.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you coming on.
Of course,
and then Mikey asked to come on as a co-host. And I was like, oh, perfect. This is going to be fun. And then all this shit blew off on Facebook. And I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Because all I knew, I don't know if Mikey knew, but all I knew is that like you guys parted ways. Yeah. That's all I had heard until like all this crazy shit happened on Facebook. But, I mean, things get blown out of proportion, I think. And it doesn't help when other people are commenting under it, throwing gasoline on the situation.
For sure.
But, tell us a little bit about, I'd like to know how like the entire process of doing these round robin events like came to be.
First thing, I've always held tournaments. I've held tournaments for going on 8 years. My dad, he was the promoter in Tennessee, and he kind of took a step back as I got older, and he let me take the reins. So I held tournaments for a while, and we have a decent little team in East Tennessee, and me and Chris is the founder of Beast Mode, and he's a training partner of mine, and he wanted to get into the promoting side, and he came to me and he was like, hey, you know what you're doing with promoting, and I'm kind of new at it. Would you mind teaming up? And I was like, yeah, man, I would love to, man. I always like to see promotions grow, and I feel like I'm a pretty cool dude. Like, I always try to make friends with everybody. I hate having enemies to my own detriment. If somebody says something about it, I'll try to go out of my way to correct that or like, squash any beef or anything like that. So anyways, basically we got a venue and they're like, man, we'll throw you some money. And I'm not used to that. I'm usually coming out of pocket. And Chris was like, here, man, take this money, do something with it, give me some matches. And I was like, all right. And I was like, man, let's do a round robin, man, like an invitational. And, I'm a 54 guy. So I was like, man, let's do the 54s because I have some pretty good connections with some guys. Man, really, it just snowballed. One guy jumped in and then another guy jumped in. And then, before you know it, you got the top three guys. You got Hunter Nobbs, Roman Gromov, and Cody Wood. And then from there, everybody wants to be a part of it, right? Yeah. Once you get 2 or 3 in there, everybody wants to be a part of it.
Right.
So it just took, legs of its own. And, it kind of did its own work. And from there, man, from the first one to the last one, man, it's grown so much. It's blew up publicity wise. And, for us, it was all about just getting the best together, and making them pull each other, and I get round robin's not the greatest format, because people aren't fresh. But to me, when you sign up for a 12-man round robin, you're pulling all 11 guys, no matter what. And to me, in order to do that on a regular basis without the round robin, how many tournaments would you have to go to?
Right.
There's no telling how many, because I've been around the sport a long time, and back in the day, everyone would go to tournaments, right? They would just, it wasn't like 12 in one weekend, right? Like it is now. It was like 2 or 3. So if you go to a tournament, everybody's there. Everybody's going to pull each other. It's not the way it is now. So I wanted to get back to that kind of thing. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it. And once we did the 54s, all the other classes came calling, and they were like, man, when are you going to do this? And,
I thought about identifying as 54 just to come to this thing.
Yeah, man, it was a blast, man. And I took part, and that was crazy because, I hosted the 54 and also competed in the 54 because we had a last minute dropout, family emergency. I was like, yeah, I'll get in there.
That's awesome.
And it was so, from the perspective of competing and watching and hosting, it was so awesome in all 3 levels.
That's pretty cool.
All 3 levels, man. It was great.
That's awesome.
I think it's interesting you describe that as awesome. As a promoter, pulling in my own events is not typically awesome for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear that a lot. And, I agree with you. It is chaotic and you probably don't perform your best. But I have a different outlook on it. So when I pull my own tournaments, I know I'm doing 100 million things, right? So if I can get used to doing that, right, when I actually go to an event that is not mine, it's like there's negative pressure, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I perform a little bit better, because eventually I just got used to it. I'll be running the mic and, I'm calling my own name to the table. All right, time for me to go. Right. And I perform at a normal level. So then again, when I go to another event, it's like a practice, to me.
Now, if you call yourself up to the stage, if you lose, do you have to announce your loss too?
I do too. I sure do. Yep. I think Mikey was actually at the women round robin. I had a super match that Friday night, and I lost, and I was like, Miguel, your winner 3-2. Laray Jenkins takes the loss.
Oh, dude. That's the downside. Yeah.
I'm not that puller that's scared to lose.
Right.
Does it upset me internally? Sure. We all want to win, but
yeah,
I don't really care about that, man. I love pulling, man.
I don't even know what that feels like. I've never fucking won one match ever.
Right.
For real. I've never won a match at any tournament.
What?
Yeah, never.
Wait, not even one match?
Never. Not one fucking match ever.
Hold on.
Like I had the 2 super matches. Paul Italia beat me, Gary Roberts, and then I've been to like Keystones, like bigger tournaments, and then the few tournaments I've been to were like open. So I get matched up with like some high level pro and get smoked. So I've actually never won a match.
Holy shit.
That's why I was like, I'm gonna run with this worst arm wrestler in the world title. And it's, that way it's really a win-win, because if someone beats me, I'm like, wow, you beat the worst arm wrestler in the world. But if one day I win, they lost to the worst arm wrestler in the world.
Ryan, have you ever looked up your score on airs? Just out of curiosity.
Well, dude, the first Keystones I went to, they never even submitted the score. So it wasn't even in there. So My score is higher than it should be because I haven't competed that much. So, like, I guess you start at what, like 1,500. So a couple losses only put me down a little bit, but I should really be like 0. I tried to get Corey to put me in there as like a negative number just for fun. So if people look me up, but he's like, I can't do it. It would recalculate me.
Damn. So that's crazy.
Carolyn Looms with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Carolyn. Hi, Laray. Do you think you could beat Josh Berger of Enemy Line?
Don't know, man. Hard to say. I would never. I feel like I'm a pretty humble guy. I would never just straight up say, you will never catch me on a podcast saying I will just guarantee it be able to beat anybody. That's just not me,
Yeah.
I'll give it hell, I mean, I'm going to give it everything I got, and I'd love to pull everybody, I'm not afraid of anybody, but,
it's hard to judge too. Like, you might beat Mikey, but then Mikey beats me, but then I lose to you. Like it never works out exactly how people think.
Yep.
But
I would love to pull him though. I know Josh. He was supposed to be in our round robin, and he had something come up, and
he's a good dude.
Ended up giving his spot to another guy, Sam Taylor, and Sam.
Yeah, he's had some injuries and stuff, so he got set back some. But he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, I've talked to Josh. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I like that you're on both sides of it, like a puller and a promoter. Same with Mikey, because I'm not that great a puller, so I'm like, you know what? I'll stay on the promoter side for now.
So yeah, that's a lot of people ask me that, and I'm like, well, I'm pretty realistic on where I feel like I can be in the rankings. I'm in the top 20 right now. I think I'm actually 20th, right? So, can I beat a top 3 guy? Probably not, dude. I just don't train enough, man. Like, I work a full-time job, and when I get off work, I spend time with my kids. I got a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old. They want to do sports, and I got a family. It's hard to juggle a lot of. I have been putting in time here lately, but I always tell people, I'm like, I can't probably be the best right now, but I could be the best promoter puller combo.
Oh yeah,
I can go for that.
If you had to choose top 3 arm wrestler in your weight class or top 3 promoter in the US, where's your heart? Which would you rather be top 3 at, promoter or arm wrestler?
Good question.
In my heart, probably arm wrestler, man.
Okay. Fair.
But I know I don't have the time, so I try to be I try to make up with it with the promoter side, because I can get away with, spending. I got my son, beside me while I'm promoting on my phone. It's a little bit easier than training. Granted, I would love to be the best promoter in the world, but that's hard, man. It takes a lot of funding, and dude, the promotions nowadays, dude, they're second to none, and they're growing bigger and better every time I see it. And I've just kind of like accepted it, like, I know my place where I'm at,
Yeah. Mikey, same question to you. What would you rather be?
Oh, it's a tough one. So I guess I'm newer to arm wrestling than I am to promoting. If I had to pick one, I think my heart's a little more in the promotion side of things. I love building guys up and giving them a platform. That's not to say I wouldn't love to be, top 3 in the US, but promoting is more where my heart is at.
I love promoting, man. It's
fun.
It is. Like I said, I've been around the sport since I was 5 years old, right? So I'm traveling to these tournaments with my dad. My dad was a top 5 guy in his time. And, I always watched the pulling, but I always was curious, man, how do they pull these events off? So my mind's been wondering and, wheels turning since that age, right? I always tell this funny story, when you're a little kid, you got little action figures, right? Well, my action figures were arm wrestlers. Right up. They were arm wrestling. I was creating my own events in my bedroom,
I can say, I've seen you and your dad interact, and it's special, man. You can tell he's super proud, of what you're doing, and it's cool. It's very touching to see.
Yeah, I love Dad, man. I wish he could be a little bit more around, and a lot of the newer guys don't know Dad. He's different now. He is, as you get older, and he's had a lot of things happen in his life, that affects you. And, he was a bad dude back in the day, and he put on some good events, and he's definitely my inspiration for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I was a better arm wrestler, I don't know if I would I would compete probably at our smaller tournaments, but like Winter Blast, like I never assign myself a specific thing because I'm getting pulled in every direction.
Yeah.
And Sue Fisher, same thing. Like we just don't give each other a job because we're putting out fires or people are pulling us for this or that. So like on a tournament that size, I'm glad that I'm not like debating like should I pull, because I don't even think I'd have time.
Yeah.
To be honest, like there's always something crazy going off or like.
Oh yeah, you're not lying there, man.
For me, it's so hard to switch from competitor to whatever job I'm doing. I've been in the same boat where I've literally announced my own name, and I'm like, oh shit, I hold the microphone, and I can't turn that switch on. And then the same when I get off the table and I have to go back to the mic, I'm still in that mindset of recovering from my loss, that it takes me a minute to get back into my groove.
Yeah.
Dude, when I saw you doing the brackets at your own tournament at the Sarah Bachman, I was like, man, he's fucking crazy. I was like, no way would I do that. This is too much fun.
Yeah.
I've been there, man.
But a big part of it too is like I walk around and like if there's people I don't know, like newer guys or people from different areas, just shaking their hand and thanking them for coming, then they come to the next one. Like you just made like a lifelong friend. So a lot of times when I'm not busy, I'm just walking around just thanking everybody for coming out to our event and stuff like that. And that goes a really long way with the pullers,
I agree with that. You asked how the round robins happen. That's how, man. Like I've made it a point to go out of my way to become friends with people, and make sure like I take time out of my day to, go up to somebody and pull them up to the side for 5-10 minutes and talk to them and, become friends with them. And then you make those lasting relationships. And then when you hold an event, you gain their trust, right? And they want to be a part of that.
Yeah, I agree. Plus, I mean, this is the best community. Like most people, like there's maybe a handful of assholes for the most part.
Yeah.
Most people are pretty cool and friendly. And I haven't met too many people where I'm like, I don't want to fucking deal with this guy.
Yeah.
Other than Mikey. But yeah, I mean that's really why I wanted to have you on, because I've been watching these events that you're throwing. I'm just like, dude, this is awesome, and because you're pulling in people from all over the country, like I love the concept, because kind of like our theme, there's the 2% guys that are out there, and then we view like the rest of us as the 98% guys trying to get to that. Yep. Like the guys that are grinding every day in the gym, trying to get better. That's what I view like 98% of us are.
Yeah.
And that's just our concept, like Engin, I'm not saying that we represent 98% of the whole sport. That's not what that means. I just mean, it's a concept where, it works in any sport. You get the 2% that are the pro baseball players that are in the major leagues, and the rest of the guys in the whole world playing are the other 98%, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I like the concept of what you're doing and stuff. And I like people getting opportunities, because it didn't know, like the whole ranking system annoys the hell out of me, because some guys get that rank and then they don't want to pull anyone. They just want to hold on to that rank. And it's like, they won't give any lower guys an opportunity. They're like, no, they want to pull someone ahead, and that's it. And it's like, dude, like now, like you were there once, and now you're not giving those guys that were in your position an opportunity. And that like drives me nuts.
To me, it's getting worse too, man. Like
so bad.
Like I was listening to Paul Italia's podcast today, and they were talking about, I forgot where it was, but they were talking about somewhere that has a school overseas, right, for arm wrestling, and they have like 10 to 15,000 students, and it's like, and they were like, well, where's our next generation? And I'm like, our next generation don't get chances, man, because these rankings get quote unquote gatekeeped. And, you know, it's not always intentional. I get travel and, you know, costs. I get all that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of times that people want matches and they're just like, well, you can pay me $2,000.
Oh, dude, that drives me nuts too.
And it's like, man, a lot of these newer generation kids, man, they don't have that, you know?
Yeah.
They just don't.
I mean, I've invited like an amateur person to Winter Blast, and they're like, well, I need at least like $500 for me to come and pull. And I'm like, you're a fucking amateur, dude. Like, that's weird. But plus, like with Corey Miller's system now, the air system, I've seen guys go, well, who's going to be there? Because I don't want my points to go down. And I'm like, oh, this is not good. You know?
So we're holding a bit. You probably know. I know Mikey does. He's a supporter. He sponsored the event. He bought the VIP package and all that for our December event. We got a big tournament. And I've had people say, you know, pull me out of that because if I take a loss there, then I may lose an East-West match. And I'm like, this is a nightmare, man. Like, if you were going to take a loss here, you were never going to go there anyway, you know?
Right? Say that again.
Yeah. I mean,
and that whole banning bullshit, dude. Yeah. Like they threw an event up here, like their nationals, but like there were people there that have won at an IFA event or had gone to Worlds, and I'm like, they just ignored it. So it's like the banning is selective anyway.
Exactly.
So why fucking have it in the first place? Just drop it. Like, if you really care about the sport, stop the fucking bans, let people pull wherever they want, and more people are going to come to your shit anyway.
Yes, sir. I agree with that. It's very crazy. You know, if you're, I ain't going to throw out names. I don't, you know, I'm just speaking hypothetically, but if you're Puller A and you've been going to East West or any other promotion, you know good and well they are not getting banned, right? If they're a money maker,
exactly.
They're just not.
Exactly.
I don't know where it lies on the spectrum. I don't know how they choose who gets banned or not. I don't. It's very confusing.
Well, it's because it's not consistent. So, like, you know, like say Mikey gets banned from WAF and he competes in IFA. I was told by the WAF representative here, like, all it takes is a letter and you're unbanned. So I'm like, it's that easy to be unbanned. Like, what's the point then? Fucking, let's just stop this stupid ban shit.
Here's another thing, like, and this isn't with the WAF-IF, but we had a 220 round robin in Arizona. And I don't know if you guys seen that drama where Arson was technically on the ban list because...
Oh, yeah, I did see that, yeah.
Well, we weren't aware. I had no idea because, for one, that shit is buried. I mean, it isn't something that you run upon every day, right? I know now to look, but, you know, it's just not. And after all that was said and done, I was basically told, well, just tell him you didn't know and everything's good. I'm like, it's that easy? All that drama was for that? And I can just say I didn't know? Really?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
And even that whole thing is like, why should that even affect arm wrestling? You know what I mean? It's like, we're not in the Olympics. We're just throwing tournaments here. Why do I have to go by the rules of someone in a different country telling me what to do?
And I'm not going to lie.
It's America.
I was not happy about having to do that. I was. Yeah. And in reality,
I saw you got some shit online a little.
Yeah, dude.
It's like, oh, he's just doing what he has to do, man.
Yeah. In hindsight, if I had to do it over again, I probably wouldn't have made that post.
Yeah.
You know, because I've seen him compete elsewhere and they aren't getting the backlash that I got. So it's like,
right.
Y'all gave me all that shit, but what about all these other big promotions that he's competing at? And y'all aren't saying nothing to him. And dude, like, go look up what he was banned for.
Yeah.
It wasn't even steroids, you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was a weight cutting supplement, you know? And the kid wants to compete and now he's being told he can't. Like,
right, they ban refs too. I didn't even know that they could ban refs. Like, if you ref fucking
nobody's safe.
Like, Jesus Christ, leave the refs alone, man. It's hard enough to find fucking refs in the first place.
We're not big enough for that yet, man.
No.
We're not, you know.
No. It's so stupid.
It's
I mean, we had a guy. Well, I'm not going to say names, but you know, there's WAF representatives in the United States, and I was talking to him, and he said, "I never text people and tell them not to go to events or anything like that." And then at Winter Blast, like 3 people showed me a text from him saying, bro, if you pull there, you're not going to be able to come to this or that. And I'm like, well, that guy fucking lied about this because I've just saw it with my own eyes. Like,
Pull Winter Blast?
For Winter Blast. And I'm like, why would it even matter at Winter Blast, dude? Like, fucking Jesus. Like, you know, we're not like an organization like fucking IFA or, you know, whatever. And Knuckles Up has run into some problems like that too, where people are being told they can't pull there. I'm like, why? That's the beef is between WAF and IFA. So how did it all of a sudden become fucking everybody? Like,
here's my take. Here's my honest take on it. I understand if you're an organization such as East West, right? Let's just use them for an example. If they want to prevent their athletes from competing in other events, I completely understand. But they better be signed to a contract.
Right.
And to me, you cannot retroactively ban someone that isn't signed.
Right.
You can't tell them they can't compete.
Yeah.
You know, in fear of maybe not getting one in the future. If you don't want me to compete, sign me to a contract, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that's the problem is, like, I agree completely. If you're contracted,
yeah, I have no problem with that.
You're not banned, but you can't pull other places because it's in your contract that you signed. You're agreeing to that.
If I was an NBA player, right? Or if I was a free agent in the NBA, right? And I want to get signed, but no one wants to sign me. But I have a little, semi-pro or overseas league that's wanting to sign me. And they're like, well, if you go over there, you can't be signed. Well, I ain't getting signed anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to take where I can get it. You know, it's stupid.
Yeah. Seems pointless. I mean, if it's not going to be consistent or like you're going to play favorites and stuff, like, you know, like Jablonski, he can go pull that Knuckles Up.
Yeah.
But other people get banned from it. But then he can go to East versus West because he's a big up and coming name, and you know they want him on the card. So it's like they play favorites, and that's the part that is just kind of like I just don't agree, like stupid.
You think they would tell Devin no if he really raised?
But dude, remember back in the day when like Devin and Engen hated each other and they fucking were talking all kinds of shit on each other all the time, and now they act like, oh, we're best friends. I'm like, man.
And don't get me wrong, dude. I love watching East West.
Yeah.
That stuff was incredible. Like that was like one of the greatest events I've ever watched. I was screaming at the TV the whole time. I'm not talking shit about them. I'm just kind of using them as an example. But you know, you're right. Consistency is consistency.
Yeah, like I think the events are great.
Yeah.
I just think the banning thing is stupid. Like
it's silly.
And I feel like the guys in America should have said, look, we're not going to fucking do this shit here if there's going to be bans. Like if everybody in America put their foot down and said, we're not going to allow the bans in America. Like you guys drop that and then you can come in. But no one did. So I mean, now it's just like, and the bans don't even make sense anymore.
To me, they need to sign who they're going to sign. Right.
Yep.
And somehow, and I know their qualifiers are technically their feeder league, but
yeah, that kind of went to shit too.
I don't think that's the best format.
No.
You can look at North American arm wrestling as a whole and pick, it don't have to be one promotion. It can be all the promotions and use that as like a feeder league. Like, for example, our round robins, right? Every winner of our round robins has got a match at East West now.
Yeah.
If that's who we are, that's cool. Like he could say, you guys are a feeder league, but that hasn't been said. So like we were going to do a round robin in Florida in 2 weeks for the supers.
Well, you said were?
We were, yes.
We're past tense.
Because say that again.
It's past tense. It's not. You're not.
Yeah, not because we couldn't even fill 12 spots, man. And it was a $10,000 purse, bro, and we could not fill 12 spops. That's because crazy. The super heavyweights they're just different,
Yeah.
Everybody's chasing the East West, and I understand that. But I thought $10,000 would get people out of the woodworks.
Damn.
I don't know if they're being told not to. I don't know that. I'm not claiming that. But there's a reason that was by far the least interest. You know, we did the 98s. I had 50 plus people lined up saying, please put me in it. We couldn't even fill 12 spots for the supers. It'd be bad business to go forward with a bunch of mid-level pullers. You know, no offense to anybody, but if I got a sponsor that's willing to put up that money, they're not going to do that for mid-level pullers when they're not going to get their get back on pay-per-view, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, it sucks, man. It did.
Dude, what put me off about the whole qualifier thing was the first year when they did the qualifiers and then finals, they just let anybody in.
Yep.
And all the guys that qualified were like, I fucking flew 8 hours to go to a qualifier and paid all this money, and then I come here and I could have just got in. Like,
I get the qualifiers are funding. Like, I'm sure he's getting kicked back on that, which I understand that. I don't have a problem with that. But I also feel like outside of that, there's no need for it. There's enough arm wrestling in America that you don't need those qualifiers. You don't. Like, you can go pick an event in every state and find some bad dudes. Like, there's no need for the qualifiers.
You know, the other downfall I felt was I don't feel the winners really got what they were supposed to win. Up until this year, it seems like maybe a few more have gotten to go on to the East versus West card, but a lot of those winners from the first year just kind of disappeared. Nothing seemed to happen with them.
Let me ask you this. If it wasn't for Chance and, Dylan, like, what about all those guys that were at the Challenger Series?
Yeah.
I doubt they would have a match yet. I guarantee you they wouldn't, So thank God they were able to do that. And that's kind of helping, but still, you're right, Mikey. Like, I know a lot of people that, for example, one of my best friends, I consider him my brother, Robbie Russell. That dude is dominated, and he's not been on the big card yet.
Right.
Knuckles up.
Knuckles up.
He has.
Yes,
oh, yeah, dude.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Robbie's a fucking awesome dude.
Yeah.
Robbie's a good dude, man. He's a very good dude, very humble. He'd give you the shirt off his back.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times
we got him a match at Winter Blast.
Oh, yeah.
And I felt so bad for him because we all went out to breakfast the morning of the tournament, and, like, he's the only one who didn't eat because he was cutting weight.
Oh, shit.
And we're all just eating in front of him, and I'm like, oh, dude, I feel so bad for him right now.
Yeah,
Robbie's bad. Poor guy. But I like what Knuckles Up is doing with the Arnold's qualifier. Like you win at a fucking regular tournament and you absolutely get a fucking shot to go to Arnold's. That's really how it should kind of be.
It should have always been that way, man.
Yeah.
And I get the exclusivity of it, like before, but like, man, that it got played out, man.
Yeah.
You can only do things a certain way for so long before it gets stale, in my opinion.
Well, dude, up here in the Northeast, like every little tournament had the logo, this is an East versus West qualifier, to the point where you don't even notice it anymore, nor do you care. It's like you can't have every tournament, like small tournament, be an East versus, like it takes away the prestige of it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like a bad move.
Well, and the weird thing was, and I don't know how you would do it because obviously somebody's going to have an advantage, but the finals was in Florida, right?
Yeah.
In my opinion, and again, I'm not talking shit about it, but that definitely gave an advantage to the Florida guys, right? A little bit, because they don't have to travel as much. And for example, let's just say someone was from Washington State. Do you really think they can make it to the East-West finals? Like,
no.
Not really. They could put a lot of money into it if they want, but it's just, I don't know. I don't know the correct way to do it. And it may be the way they're doing it now. I don't know,
Or do some sort of regional finals in each region, and then the winners of those regions get an opportunity to come to like a finals.
It's been an ongoing, and it ain't an East-West problem, man. It's an arm wrestling problem. It's been this way for years.
It's such it sucks because it's like when you talk about it, it seems like, well, this is an easy thing to fix. It's not,
Yeah.
Like if they want to keep it WAF versus IFA, just drop the bands and then the fucking champions from WAF versus the champions from IFA, and you have a fucking huge finals or huge,
Yeah.
I mean, just like football, you have the American League and the National League. They get along. They're not banning each other. And then the winners from each side, fucking boom, Super Bowl. That's how it should kind of be, I think.
See, I think that's how it should be here on a smaller level, right? There should be some sort of umbrella, and they should handpick. I don't know. This is going to be controversial. There's too many promoters. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There just is. And there's too many good promoters that are taking hits because of these smaller promoters that don't really care. There's a lot of promoters that don't give a damn.
Oh, yeah.
They're just doing it. I can throw a tournament, 50 entries, charge 50 an arm, and walk away with $2,000 after I pay my buddy $500 to help ref, and I'll help ref too, right?
Yeah.
You need people who care, right? And there's enough of them here. So if you had some sort of umbrella that said, well, rankings only count with these promoters, or money matches only count with these promoters, or something. I don't know. That's just me spitballing, but there needs to be something, man, because it's just way off right now.
We got to start just killing these little ones.
Yeah.
YouTube's probably going to shut us down now, but.
And dude, I've been there too. I've been a small promoter, but
yeah,
I put in my dues,
Right.
And it's just another thing is to me, too many amateurs are doing too many super matches, man. It's too easy to go down the road to a garage and do a super match and have that count for a rankings match.
Yeah.
In no other sport is that possible.
Right. I know. And I mean, the other side of that is there are some guys that are great characters.
Yeah.
And they promote themselves so well that they're getting these matches. And I think that is kind of cool.
Oh, of course.
Whether they deserve it or not, as far as skill level, I don't know. But if you can get the match and people are willing to put money on it, I'm like, that's pretty cool, man. But
I agree with that.
There's a lot of amateur super matches with money on them, and I'm just like, oh my God, dude. There's more money on there was more money on the Paul Italian Nanya match than any other fucking pro match that was in history at the time.
But here's the thing. That was at an established event, right? That was at an established event. It wasn't in somebody's garage, right?
Right.
That was my point.
Yeah,
Maybe I worded it wrong with the amateurs. They have a place in the sport for sure. It's for example, our state rankings, you have to pull one time a year to stay active, right? So say I'm ranked number 1. Well, I can go to my buddy's house down the road and say, hey, let's pull a super match real quick. Hey, do you mind reffing? All right, here we go. I'm going to beat you. Now I don't have to pull again for a whole year.
Oh, wow.
That's dumb, bro. Yeah. To me, that is so dumb.
The whole point of arm wrestling is you want to beat your opponent. You want to test yourself. You want to see where you're at, and the old school people like Sue Fisher and me are talking about this all the time. She's like, back in the day, dude, you traveled fucking 8 hours because you knew some top level people were there and you wanted to pull them, even if you thought you might lose, because you wanted to test yourself against these top guys. And now it's the opposite. The top guys are avoiding going to these things so that they don't get beat by a lower level guy.
It's the opposite. That's what I was saying earlier. I remember going, I want to say it was 2004, 2005, and I was a little kid, but my dad and us, we went to 13 or 14 tournaments in one year. And I remember going to North Carolina, watching Travis Bagent pull David Randall and, all these big dogs. And then 2 weeks later, we were going to Florida and they were down there too. And then a month later, we were going to Ohio and they were there too. And it was just that's gone. That's long.
Oh, yeah.
Gone.
I mean, back then they'd pile 10 of them into a car and just roll out, sleep in the fucking car if you had to.
Yep.
Now it's it is expensive when you start calculating a flight, a hotel, food, rental car, the guys that do that every week. I'm like, man, good for you, man. I'd be fucking broke.
Right. It is expensive. That plays a big role, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I think another one is some people are afraid to take losses.
I'm afraid to get a win.
We got to get you a win, brother.
I know, dude.
What's your weight?
Oh, I'm super heavy.
Man, we got to get you a win.
Well, that's part of the problem is I shouldn't be a super heavy. So
That's
the
fair.
guys I got to go against are monsters. And I'm fucking short, fat. So, so now I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to be competitive, I need to cut weight and lose weight. And, then I'll, so while I have this shoulder situation going on, I just had surgery. Now I'm like, all right, I got to cut weight and start training and be a little more competitive in the future.
Yeah. So you want to for sure though.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy it. Like I still go to practice and stuff like that. And I just, I don't know. I just, I don't care if I lose. You know what I mean? It's just fun to me. Like I'm just having a blast doing this stuff and promoting and hanging out with guys like you two. And it's just fun to me.
It is, man. I double class every tournament, every single tournament. I don't care. I know I'm probably not going to win that second class, but like, what if I beat somebody I'm not supposed to?
Right.
There's
always that chance, dude.
That's why
you never know what's going to happen in your round robins either, because like someone could match up against a beast and they might win, but then they're spent and then they lose to someone that's shouldn't beat them.
Yep. So
it's like, you just never know.
Every single round robin going in, everyone had their predictions on their favorites, but every single time there's been at least one guy break into that top four that everybody was like, well, how did he get there?
Yeah. Or guys that I thought like, oh, he's going to win, and they fucking didn't.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Like Eduardo, bro, he went 0-11 in the 98 round robin. I would have never expected that. That dude's a bad dude.
Yeah. For sure, dude.
What's up,
but I like seeing all these, like Mikey, dude, down in Florida, crushing it.
Oh, yeah.
And I know some big things are going to come out of Pro Gear Arm Wrestling. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, I can feel it.
Mikey's so hyped, dude. I love it. Like his energy, like he's so hyped to get this shit going. And I'm like, I just love like seeing it,
Yeah.
Because I still feel like that with 98. Like we're still relatively a new promotion. We've only been around a couple of years. So I'm still hype as shit at even our small tournaments. I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's a good time for sure.
And the first time we threw Winter Blast, like Sue Fisher used to throw Winter Blast, like there was like a regular tournament every year up here, and everybody, a lot of like top level pros got their start at Winter Blast. And then she stopped. And then years later, fast forward to like a few years back, she wanted to bring it back, and she liked our concept 98 and was like, let's team up and do this. And I'm like, all right. And we had only thrown like one or two tournaments before that. And then we throw Winter Blast, and I'm like, holy fuck, dude, this is huge. Because we had like amassed a big following up here. And, in the Northeast, there's a lot more arm wrestlers closer together. Yeah. So more people come out for our tournament. But when like last year, Winter Blast was so big, and I was getting nervous, dude. I'm like, whoa, look at all these fucking people. Like, how are we going to pull this off? But every year it just comes together,
As a promoter, though, isn't it awesome when you're sitting back and you're seeing people following, and you're like,
yeah,
dude, this is it. Like,
yeah, dude, the energy in like a room with fucking, 300 fucking arm wrestlers is crazy, and their families, I was like, dude, this is awesome. But it helps when you align yourself with like a good team. Like Corey Miller did our brackets. Sean Hancock was the head ref and brought in great refs. It's just fucking cool. Sue Fisher being my partner on that, like, that brings credibility to 98, like working with people that were around, for the last 20, 30 years in arm wrestling. And then new alliances like Mikey and it's just cool to like, and Knuckles Up and Sean Hancock, like we're just trying to like network more, and it's been working out good. Like just finding like-minded people.
That's a big thing in promoting, man.
Yeah.
You can't do it yourself. It takes a team.
Yeah, for sure.
I always said, like, imagine if you could get the best 12 promoters in the country and they could do one event together. Could you imagine?
Crazy. Like, that'd be crazy. I can't even see how that logistically would work.
It would be hard.
I'm thinking about like I'm already going to. Oh man, they'd all start fighting.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, it'd be like a brawl. Or Travis would be one of them, and then he'd just make off with all the money.
And wouldn't care to tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Mikey. I like seeing you promote because you can tell like you've been promoting your gyms.
Yeah.
So like this is an easy transition for you, and it shows.
Yeah. I did a little bodybuilding too. I've hosted bodybuilding shows before, so
nice.
It's not new to me.
Yeah. So, but you being new to like I guess arm wrestling promoting, you can tell that transition is very easy for you.
Yeah.
Which is awesome because like you're just like boom, and you're just doing it.
Thank you.
Because dude, the first couple of tournaments I was involved in, I'm like, oh my god, dude, how is this gonna fucking work? This is crazy. And you just looked like you did it natural.
Yeah, you just figure it out.
Yeah, just worked itself out. And honestly, I was worried for nothing because they do just work themselves out. You know,
yeah,
it's not rocket science.
Nah,
you know, but it's fun as hell.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
So I was dude, after all the drama yesterday, I kind of was off Facebook yesterday. So I kind of missed your announcement. I know you're starting your own promotion. Did you like team up with somebody or did you take over somebody's?
Yeah, but I guess you could say take over. So I don't know if you remember, originally I was co-owner of the Florida Arm Wrestling League, FAL. Yep. Me and Chance parted ways amicably. We're still good friends. Yeah. I ended up getting back into it with Brandon Morris, who owned Flow Arm Combat. We hosted, I think, 2, 3, maybe 4 events together. I think he was getting to a point where he was kind of burnt out, and I am just getting my fire started, and he recognized that, and he really wanted to kind of let me take the reins on Florida. So I took over his Flow Arm Combat, rebranded it as Pro Gear Arm Wrestling, and I'm ready to do my own thing with my own style.
Yeah, man.
That's exciting, man.
Yeah.
I hate to hear that about Brandon, man. Brandon's a good dude.
Same. Listen, rest assured, I have been in Brandon's ear the whole time telling him, listen, I'm not letting you completely out. You still need to be involved. He's already said he'll work the mic for me at events, and he's got phenomenal ideas when it comes to promoting. So he's going to have my ear almost every step of the way here. So he'll still be involved for sure.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good, man. So you got some big plans next year?
Yeah. So honestly, I haven't even thought so much about next year with everything going on this year with all these tournaments. I will say that, man, I've spent some money already getting Mazarenko tables. I went and got the same ones that they have at High Five with those built-in risers, which I'm really excited about those. They're coming in, all obviously custom Pro Gear stuff, all new sound equipment, new laptop, and top-notch everything, man. I want to make sure like we really make a name in arm wrestling.
That's cool, man. I have no doubt that you'll kill it, man.
Thank you. Yeah. And like Ryan was saying, the collab part I think it's huge. Like the three of us working together, I think that's everything, man. You align yourself with people who have that same mindset as you, the same goals as you. None of us are money driven in this. It's all about a passion for the sport. And I think it's going to show, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, me and Sue don't even pay ourselves. Like, we make sure everyone's paid, and then we're like, okay, what can we do at the next event with this money?
Yeah.
Or what equipment do we need? Or like, can we get better trophies or medals? Or like, that's kind of like the one event feeds the next one and the next one. And that's how it kind of goes.
I've had events where I've made money, I'm sure we all have. But my favorite events are the round robins where I go home with nothing, man. But at the end of the day, I can smile because, like, dude, those were epic,
Yeah.
Like the last Winter Blast, we bought a trailer so that we could put all our fucking shit in, like all our tables, leave them put together so you don't have to take them apart. Like that is such a huge help. And, but to me, that's like, we're putting money back into the sport so that we can throw more tournaments and travel. Like now we can kind of broaden our horizons a little. But yeah, I got a lot of like weird backfeed when I started all those 98 groups in every state, because people were like, oh, he's trying to take over the whole country. And I'm like, I'm not trying to go out of my own area, but to me, the reason I did that was so, say you're throwing a tournament in New Hampshire. Like most promoters will throw their flyers and like, you know, arm wrestling this or arm wrestling that, and you don't have a clue who's seeing that flyer. Mm-hmm. Or like we get a lot of guys throwing stuff in our groups here in the Northeast, and they're like in Southern California, and I'm like, it's highly unlikely that anybody from fucking the Northeast is going to that. So my idea was create a group for every state. So if you're throwing a tournament in New Hampshire, you can promote it in Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts, like the surrounding states and your own state. And you're going to hit the guys that are in that fucking area that will go to your tournament. So you can kind of like narrow in on your area. And I was hoping like guys would jump in from every state. And I was like, I'll just make them an admin so they can add the guys from their own state that they know. Because I don't know everyone. So it's been working in a lot of the states, but there are some dead states, you know, that, you know, there's not that many people. But every state that we've done it in that is pretty busy has been growing like pretty good. So I'm hoping promoters will start using those groups. Like it's a tool. Like 98 is for everyone. Like it's not just for like our little 98 group, but I'm hoping people will use it as a tool to promote.
Yeah.
That way, you know, it's like you putting your flyer in a fucking group doesn't benefit me in any way. I made that group so it benefits the promoters so they can really like narrow in on their areas.
People get territorial, man.
Dude, I know, like I did that and people are like, dude, what are you doing? Are you trying to take over the whole United States? And I'm like, no, dude, I don't even want to throw tournaments like outside of a 3 fucking hour drive, you know. Like I'm fine staying in my lane.
I think that's why you see so much problems with like you don't see a lot of collab. Now you do here recently, but like in the past, I feel like you don't see that because people get territorial and they're like, yeah, you know, what are you gonna do? Come take over? Yeah, it's not about that, man. It's about building something bigger. You know,
yeah.
2 heads are bigger than 1, 3 are bigger than 2. You know,
yeah, because I don't like we're not a league. We're not. I mean, we have a league, you know, like, but we're not like I feel like 98 is more of like an umbrella. Like anybody is in the 98 if they want to call themselves that or whatever, if you're not a 2% pro. So to me, it's like I just want to set things up that anyone in the country can use, like all arm wrestlers or all promoters. And you know, people like we get hate for it for some reason, and I'm just like, whatever, dude. If you don't want to use it, don't use it. Like
it's like Laray said, it's a territory thing. That's what it comes
down to. Keep putting your fucking flyers and arm wrestling discussion, and you have no fucking clue who's even like looking at that flyer.
Yeah, it's too many Chiefs, brother. Too many Chiefs.
But I love seeing new things like Knuckles Up, dude, crushing it.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, if you saw their fucking production level in person, it's like, holy shit. It's fucking amazing. And the funny thing I noticed, this last East versus West kind of did some things that Knuckles Up has been doing. And I was like, dude, they totally got that from Knuckles Up because nobody was doing it like that till Knuckles Up.
Right.
I mean, those guys, I mean, their production, like Mikey's going to see this time at Knuckles Up 4. So we'll get to hang out there. But I recommend anyone out there, if you have not been to Knuckles Up, just come check it out. Go to one at least live and check it out. Like it's crazy.
I don't think they get enough respect, man.
I don't either.
They deserve, from what I've been told and what I've heard, they treat their people like real.
Oh yeah, the competitors, yeah, big time, and their supporters too. Those guys take care of me. Like I'm good friends with them, and they make sure, like, you know, they just, you know, they're just so friendly and welcoming that they make sure you go there, you're having a good time. You know, they, you know, invite your friends, bring whoever. They have an after pull, an after dinner, you know, all this stuff. It's so fun, dude.
You know how, like, when you turn on a sport on TV and, like, all the announcers and the promoters, they're just so happy and you don't see the drama side of things?
Yeah.
That's what Knuckles Up is, man. When I look at that, I'm like, oh, this is, like, something I would turn on TV and watch. You don't see, like, any negatives from there, at all. You know,
No, it's
you
cool.
do,
It's
you
really
do
cool.
everywhere else, but not Knuckles Up, man. They got it
I
going
feel
on.
fortunate that it's local to me. Like it's like a fucking hour and a half drive, and I'm there. So I'm like, yes,
Yeah,
I've
that's
been to
really
every
cool.
single one. Like I love it. Plus, bringing it back to the Arnolds, dude, fucking epic. And
like
adding women.
we talked earlier too about how East vs. West offered all, this dream of if you win, you're going to go to East vs. West. I would put my life on it that Will and Chris will honor that. If you win at the Arnolds, I would put my life on it. You will be on a Knuckles Up production.
Oh, 100%.
Very quickly.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
I was training with Robbie. This was before he got his match with East West, or not East West, Knuckles Up, and he pointed them out. He's like, I would really like to be on that card, and I was like, yeah. And dude, they've been good to me too. They communicate with me and talk, and they're coming to our December event and stuff. And I was like, let me message them and see what I can do. And I messaged them. I'm like, hey, just so y'all know, Robbie Russell wants a spot, and they're like, really? Consider it done. And it wasn't like a couple weeks, and he got a match announced.
That's cool.
Great.
And so
Yeah, they're good like
they're
that.
always looking for the best people for sure.
Dude, as soon as I heard about them doing the Arnold thing, I hit up like all my friends that are promoters, and I'm like, dude, you got to do this. Like I hit up Mikey, I hit up Steve Fernandez up in New York, and I was like, you guys got to do this, dude. Fucking, I was like, sign up, and it's fucking awesome, dude. I think it's great.
Oh yeah.
And they're not oversaturating it. Like there's not going to be a fucking, like every little tournament's not going to be a fucking Arnold's qualifier.
Right. It's good, man. It's good to see Arnold's come back. That's an iconic event. It's been like that for decades.
Yeah. This is gonna be my first one. I'm gonna go to it because we're a qualifier. So this is gonna be my first one going to check it out. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I never got to go, so hopefully I'll get to go this time.
Yeah. Seems like a good time.
Are you gonna try and qualify? All right.
Yeah, I probably will. Yeah.
You should.
I think that's what, going back to me, like that's next year, I took over TAA. That's what I'm picking up next year.
Yeah, congrats on that, man.
Yeah,
that's big.
It's a good brand, it's built by David Owens. He's had this thing going for a while, and he's kind of stepped out. I've held Tennessee tournaments, a majority of them, but he built that brand, and for him to trust to give that to me, that I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's what I think I'm really gonna dive into really hitting some table time and try to get after it on the competitive side for sure.
Are you going to do some more of the same events that you've been doing, or
the round
are you
robin?
going to focus more on the league?
So that's yeah. Okay, let's just get into that. We might as well address it. First off, I'm sure everybody's seen my post, right? Two things can be true at once, right? You can have true feelings about something, but also have regrets, right? I'll say that right now. I regret even going to social media with that. Honestly, I really do. In hindsight, it just brought too much. It brought more trouble than really. It got blown out of proportion. It did. I've had disagreements with Chris, but in reality, I love that dude, right? He's like family, and family have arguments and they have disagreements, right? And just because we go our separate ways doesn't mean we don't support each other, right? We've had things have been said that we can't take back, but at the same time, we can move forward and push that in the past, right? So I don't want the narrative that I'm against him or he's against me out there. I don't, when he came to me to build that brand, that's what we did, right? I feel like that brand with the round robins are pretty damn solid, and they're going to continue. It'll probably be more towards the beast mode side, and it's going to be awesome to see it. They should still keep going as good as they have been, and I'll tell anybody they should go to that. As far as me, I'll probably take a little step back on promoting. I got 2 tournaments that I've always ran, Tennessee State and the Tri-State. This coming year is the 25th annual. It's been going since I'm
Wow.
4 years old. So for me to be able to carry that on is pretty cool. But yeah, man, it's just a lot of things, man. It wasn't all just disagreements. We ran 8 events this year. It's a lot, I can't say that I didn't get burned out a little bit, coming home, making graphics, making videos, contacting pullers, and then it's bedtime, and that carried on for a whole year. And it's like, man, I'm seeing years of my kids slip by, that I'm not going to get back. And so that was a big part of it that I kind of wanted to take a step back. And, I understand where he was coming from. And, a lot of the interaction came from me because I have a lot of connections, right? So if I take a step back, is the brand going to continue? So I understand where he was coming from. And that was kind of where the disagreements came. But, dude, I really think that brand's going to be solid. And I think he'll kill it, man. Chris is, I couldn't have did it without him. I know everybody thinks the round robins is mine. It wasn't just mine, man. Was it my idea? Sure. But again, I could not have done that without him. He funded a lot of it too. And, we had a good run, man. And we put on some epic events for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But man.
I feel the same way with 98. Like, it's not just one person. Like there's a lot of people behind the scenes that do things.
Yeah.
Like, we have a committee. Like, I don't just like make a decision and that's, I'm not Hitler. I'm not Engen, but maybe I'll grow my eyebrows out. Okay. No, but I feel like I like to bounce things off people. Like, if I have an idea, I want to feel like I could call Mikey or you and be like, hey, what do you think of this? Is this a good idea, or am I retarded, or what should I do here?
Yeah.
And that's the cool part about making friends with people all over the community, because everyone has more experience than I do. So I'm like, I'm going to ask the guys that have more experience, and see what they think.
You have to be willing to, listen to other people, man. And that goes back to what we were just saying earlier. A lot of people don't, man. A lot of people are set in their ways and they don't want to hear it from anybody else. They want to do it the way they want to do it. And they don't care what anybody else has to offer, even if it's a benefit,
Yeah.
It's the people who will take the time to sit down. I've had phone calls with Mikey, and he's told me things that I need to improve on. And I was very glad to hear that. Some people could get mad at that and be like, oh, he's a hater. He hated the way. Yeah. No, dude, that's him caring about an event because he sees potential in something and he's offering benefit, to improve. And take that and run with that, and don't get upset because people offer criticism anywhere. You take that and improve, and eventually you grow into something bigger.
Yeah. I love getting criticism, dude. It's fucking great. The only thing I get mad about is there's some guys up in my area that, like the old school guys, that are like they view me as like a new school guy, and I don't deserve to have like this whole 98 thing so big. And I'm like, well, you've been here 30 years. You could have done it. Like, what stopped you from fucking doing something?
Here's the problem, man. How long has arm wrestling been in North America? Since the 70s?
Yeah, I wasn't even born yet.
And guess what? It stayed the same till what?
Yeah.
2000s?
Right.
We never got anywhere.
No.
So now we're in the 2000s, and those people who controlled arm wrestling from the 70s to the 2000s, they're still kind of in power, right?
Yeah.
And they want to keep doing it the old way. But guess what? The old way is going to keep us in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. We're never going to get anywhere. You have to be innovative and try new things. That's what I did with the round robin. They've always been around. Round robins have been around forever. But you got to find new ways to try to bring, just different ideas. People get tired of going to the same old double elimination tournament, man. Try new things. Put new things together. If it's a triple elimination, or if it's a round robin, or if it's some sort of different format, it's all about new ideas, man.
Yeah,
we need new blood in the sport. Otherwise, we're just going to stay stagnant.
I agree, dude. And you know who put it good to me was Arm Gods, another fucking promotion that's doing some cool things. So they did the thumbtack match and they got a lot of shit about that.
Yeah.
But Paul Maiden was like, listen, we did that match, but we had 16 other great matches. So if you don't like that one, just don't fucking watch it. Like, just because one match was crazy and people didn't like it doesn't take away from the other 16 great fucking matches they had. So he's like, we're trying new things to see, you know, where we can go like this. Like, instead of doing the same shit all the time, let's make it exciting, because let's be honest, only arm wrestlers enjoy watching arm wrestling. Like, non-arm wrestlers don't know the rules. They don't know what's going on. They're like, why did he just stop it? It's boring. It's like watching fucking, you know, a boring sport. So the only way to make it grow is make it exciting for non-arm wrestlers to watch.
Another way, man, and I really think that we need to do this as the arm wrestling community in the world, not on the local level. Dude, we got to have household names, man. You know, I can go to at my factory, you know, I can go around and say, hey, do you guys know, I don't know, Puller A? Most of them are going to say no. But if I say Devin Larrett, a lot of guys know Devin Larrett. They do. He's a household name. We need more of those.
Yes.
We have to have more of those. That's how the UFC become what it is. You know, because otherwise you're sitting there watching two guys that you have no connection to. You don't care who they are. You don't know their backstory. And, okay, at the end of the day, they're going to go about their business, and then I'm going to go about my business. I'm going to turn the channel. But if I have an invested interest in you, you know, you play some backstory and I get to know you, I can connect with you, right? I'm going to become a fan. That's how you develop fans. For example, Hunter Knobs is a star. He's about to become, if not already, a household name.
Yeah.
Because he's got a personality, right? It's not a fake personality. It's a real personality. A lot of people don't like the characters. There's a difference between characters and you being yourself.
Yeah.
Huge difference. A lot of people think, you know, whatever's being fake. No, a lot of people are being themselves. And that shit comes natural. And that's how you gain fans, man. And the more people we can get as household names, where I can go to a factory and I can be like, hey, man, do you know the sport of arm wrestling? And they're like, yeah, man. All right, well, name me 10 arm wrestlers. And they can actually do that. That's when we're getting somewhere as a sport.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that, but, you know, that's where we need to start. I really do feel that way.
I agree. And I think, like you said, you know, I mean, it is fun to watch characters sometimes and see some crazy shit.
Yeah.
That's like just human nature. But to see, like, you know, like you said, everyone knows Devin. And anyone who got into arm wrestling watched a Devin YouTube fucking video and started training like him, thinking that that's going to put them ahead. You know what I mean? And then they go to practice and get smoked because, you know.
Another thing, a lot of people, I've heard mixed feelings about it, but whether you like it or not, Game of Arms brought a lot of eyes to the sport.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because we got damn backstories. There are cameras at their house. They're seeing how these people live. They're connecting with these people. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, he's living like I live. He works like I work, you know? Like that's how you gain sport. Like there's a lot of guys locally that are in this sport because of Game of Arms.
Yeah.
And I know that to be a fact. And it's just, when you have things like that, we need more behind the scenes. We need more.
I agree. My generation, it's over the top.
It is.
That movie was the fucking, every kid my age wanted to fucking arm wrestle after that.
And you were talking about arm gods. Like, if you mention arm gods today, what's going to get brought up?
Yeah.
The thumbtack match.
Yeah. And
so,
yeah.
Good publicity, bad publicity doesn't matter. All publicity is good publicity, in my opinion, as long as it isn't just ridiculous, right?
Yeah. Well, their next thing is their electrocution matches.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah. Like tasers built into the table. I'm like, oh my God.
But guess what? I'm going to watch.
Yeah, fucking right.
You know what
dude.
I'm saying? I'm going to watch.
Well, there's a reason why when you tell someone that you arm wrestle, they're like, is that like slap boxing? And you're like, oh, fuck. No, it's not like slap boxing.
Right.
You know? But people are drawn more to that because it's ridiculous. And I mean, who doesn't want to see a guy get knocked out with a slap? You know, like it's kind of funny. So people are drawn to that more so than fucking arm wrestling, which sucks. But I mean, you got breakdancing in the fucking Olympics, and we can't even get fucking arm wrestling in there. But it's not. It's only because of the way all these promoters are fucking killing each other. That's the only thing preventing it from going to the Olympics, and and drug testing and shit. But it should be there. I mean,
it should.
Fuck.
I mean, the Olympics is coming to the United States in 4 years. What a better opportunity to do it, and it's not going to be here, man.
No,
that's the sad thing.
No, they're gonna have like fucking breakdancing. Jesus Christ.
We have short attention spans, man.
That's
why TikTok's one of the best, or not best, but one of the highest downloaded apps. We just 15 seconds going to the next.
Oh, that ray gun chick from the that shit is everywhere, dude. From the breakdancing.
Yep.
Andrew Wood with a $5.70. That's a pretty specific number. $5.71. The Armbreaker 3000. No floor match, no rounds. First competitor to yield loses.
Elaborate a little bit.
He has something he built that's called the Armbreaker 3000. And I don't know. I don't know where he's going with that, but
I assume you just arm wrestle until somebody quits.
I know that sounds scary. Nobody likes to see an arm break. Luckily, I'm not strong enough to break my own arm, so I'm pinned long before I get unsafe.
Yeah, man. It's interesting.
Dan Sword says, "What are y'all's ages?"
I'm 29.
God damn.
I'll go next since I'm the middle one. That'd be 38.
I'm 44. But because I act 12, it throws people off a little.
Hey, you're only as young as you feel and act, right?
I felt a lot younger before this shoulder surgery.
What'd you get repaired?
My rotator cuff. Should have just left it torn.
So how do you know when it's gone?
They did an MRI.
I mean,
I didn't really know.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I wish I had a cool story of how it happened. Like my parachute didn't open or something. But I just fell at work and put my arm out to stop the fall, and it fucking didn't work.
Is that what happened when you're 44?
That's what happens when you're 44. Like a simple fall takes you out.
I've always had shoulder issues from high school because I played football and I would bench press a lot. And ever since then I've had shoulder issues, and every time after a tournament that it kills me. And I always wondered, like, I wonder if I got something going on, but I just go on about my business.
I mean, I didn't know that it was torn. Well, I had a tear. I had 2 partial tears and a full tear. So I didn't know, though, like they sent me to PT and they're making me do all this shit. And I'm like, this hurts. And then finally they got an MRI and they're like, oh, you're all torn up and you have partial tears. And I'm like, so was that doing damage all this time? Me going to PT and they're moving my arm all around and making me do stuff. And I'm like, why wouldn't you start out with an MRI and then
for real?
You know what I mean? But with insurance and stuff like that, that's not how they do things. Like they got to go through their process, and then they don't want to give you an MRI right away. So it's been a long road, but we'll see. It's coming along.
Well, maybe that's why you've lost your matches. That can be a good excuse.
Hey, I'll use that. I'll use that as the excuse.
Oh man, I've been arm wrestling with a torn rotator cuff.
Yeah, that's the only reason. That's the only reason you all won. Then I'll have people gunning for me for rematches and shit.
Hey, get yourself paid, man.
Yeah.
That's
but
what
I got a lot of hate too about like my super match with Italia and Gary Roberts. Like people were like, you don't deserve these matches. And I'm like, well, I didn't fucking challenge anybody. Like I got challenged and just accepted the challenge. Well, the reason I accepted it with Paul is he deserved it. Like I gave him a lot of shit when he first came into the sport and stuff, and trolled him a little. So that pissed him off. So he challenged me, and I'm like, he deserves a fucking opportunity to fucking shut me up. You know what I mean? And now we're like good friends. Like, we became really good friends. We actually became good friends before we even pulled, just from going back and forth. And it's just funny how that worked out.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, but Gary Roberts, I mean, me and Gary had an agreement. Like, he was going to win the first two, and then I was going to win the second two, and then the fifth one, we were going to go crazy. Well, he got so crazy jumping over the table and attacking me, and then he blew chalk in my face, and then fucking Travis was like, so he won the first 2 rounds, and we were getting ready to do the third, and Travis goes, "Shut it down, this is too crazy," and they fucking stopped it right there. And I was like, what the fuck?
Gary's always been crazy, man. I remember
he's
that
nuts, dude. It was hilarious.
Camera forever.
People were messaging me like, "You should sue him for blowing chalk in your face." I'm like, dude, come on, relax.
So, to change the subject, I put out a post. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. We got a kid, Landon Anderson, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've been trying to make the match happen with him and Alton. We know it's going to cost money. We don't care.
Yeah.
We will put up the money. We just want to know what the number is, but we get no response, man.
Well, what's up with him?
I mean, you want me to be honest?
Yeah.
He'd get smacked.
Yeah.
I mean, Landon's the truth.
Beast.
He's the truth.
Yeah.
He's got wins over Robbie. He's got wins over Adam Wierzynski, Austin Jaggers, and Brandon Elsesser. And this kid's 19 years old.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, I'm kind of thinking like, well, I ain't thinking I know. Like, he knows that's probably not a match that he could probably win, That's a very risky
Very
match.
unlikely, yeah.
But he's 19. Landon's 19. Dude, they're the same weight.
Yeah.
Just tell us, man. Tell us how much it cost.
And not a peep from
nothing, man. Nothing.
Just got to troll him a little bit.
That's what we're trying to do, man. I put out that post just to try to poke.
Yeah.
Man, nothing, man. I don't know. We're
maybe start with the head of the household.
I've reached out, man. He don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're like, why is your son ducking?
We're going on Paul Italia's next week, so hopefully maybe that'll get Landon some exposure.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do, man. With the TAA thing, I'm just trying to build my guys up in the state, because we got a lot of talent.
Italia's got a great show too.
Oh yeah,
he does a great job, like interviewing, controlling the pace of the show, everything. He does a really good job.
Yeah, they were talking about it on the podcast, like what, about, is it good for him to take that match, or is it good the way he's going about getting these social media matches and kind of not pulling real matches? I have mixed feelings about it. I understand that's the new age, but
yeah,
I hate to see that, man, because like, just
he's
picture this
too.
Well, let's just picture this. He's gonna be good, bro. He's a Laray.
Yeah,
he's not a, just a social media star. He's Devin's son. He's gonna be great. And we got this kid in Landon who is great. Probably the number 1 teen in the United States. They're both the same age. They're both the same weight. 19 years old. Imagine if they started a rivalry today. That could be a 30-plus year rivalry, man. That could be the next era.
Yeah.
Right? And we missed that because just 2 different paths, I guess, man. I don't know. What do you guys think about that though? Like, do you
the fact that they're both 19? I think that's cool as fuck.
Yeah, that makes it interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, do you want Auden to pull more established pullers, or is he going about it the right way? Or, I mean, I understand it.
It's hard because he's not a regular puller because of his family name. You know what I mean? Like, he gets opportunities that the average guy probably would not get.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good puller. He's, like you said, he's going to be a good puller.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's hard to say, dude, because he's not like a normal name. You know what I mean?
Yep.
he's already like a famous arm wrestler, basically.
Exactly. For me, like, I mean, you look at the greatest, and like they took their losses. That's what I go back to.
Yeah.
Even John Brzezinski was taking losses in the
Yeah.
beginning. He couldn't beat Johnny Walker for the longest, right?
Right.
He finally did, though, right?
Yeah, he was like his John Brzezinski. Like, I got to beat this guy. He's the best,
I feel like that's what we're missing with this new gen. Like they're going to be taking a whole lot less losses.
Do you think Landon should make Auden enemy number one, like Coben's saying here? Like just for like to just to tease him out. Like, come on.
Here's
his.
Here's the problem, though. Landon is a quiet kid, man.
Yeah,
that's the problem,
dude. The good ones always are too.
He's a quiet kid. He would never go online and just go full on let the chopper spray. He's not that guy.
Yeah,
Quiet's not going to get him that match.
Nope. And I'm trying to be like, look.
That's why you have other people do it for you.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna try. If I have to try to help him get there,
Yeah.
I'm like, Paul, let's get this kid on there. He's going on the podcast. I'll go on there with you, Landon. If you're quiet and you're shy, I'll try to help you get out of your shell.
I can already picture Paul being like, fuck that. You need to fucking call him out. Like he's going to get all into it.
Dude,
that's a good one.
Anybody, if you guys don't know Landon, go look up his videos, dude. When he gets on the table, he does let the chopper spray. That dude's a serious beast, man.
Yeah.
I mean, when he beat Austin Jaggers was like 350 pounds in his prime, when he was up top. And Landon was 17, weighing 209 and beat him, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, flashed him. And everybody was just like, oh, dude, this is crazy. And
I haven't seen anything lately of Austin. Is he still out and about?
I mean, he might have some personal stuff going on. I don't know.
Possibly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We tried to get him in on the round robin, but publicity type stuff.
Yeah.
I understand you got to look at things like that.
Yeah.
But man, when I'm a fan of sports, even if I turn the basketball game on, right? A lot of people hate LeBron because why? They don't hate him because he sucks at basketball. They hate him because of who he is off the court, right?
Yeah.
And his politics. Dude, my fandom ends when that clock hits 0. I could care less who you are off the field, off the court. I could care less. It's what you do on the field and on the court. And it's kind of the same for the table. But, it's a little bit different for arm wrestling because we're more of, a smaller sport. And it's more personal. But
I mean, this is the only sport where you can literally go do the sport with your fucking sports heroes.
Yeah.
They're just normal dudes drinking and hanging out.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to play baseball with your fucking favorite baseball player.
Yeah. I wish him all the success, though, man. I hope he gets it all taken care of. Austin,
Yeah.
I've talked to Austin, man. He's a good dude. Like, shit happens to people, man, It does.
Yeah.
People get caught up in things, and people make mistakes, and you move on and try to grow as a person,
I make mistakes every day.
Yeah.
My wife bitches at me for it.
Yeah. It happens, man. You can't just condemn somebody,
Yeah. I mean, I try to ignore like people's personal life stuff just because it shouldn't be brought out into public stuff anyway, really.
No.
I mean, that's kind of a different situation because it was in the fucking news, but
yeah.
For the most part,
every situation's different for sure.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm not allowed within 500 feet of a school, so.
All right.
I'm going to just start that rumor now,
How quick will this make it to Facebook?
Like, me and my wife live in a warehouse so that I can stay 500 feet away from my daughter at all times. But we still live in the same house. It's like a huge Walmart. Just like, good night. And hope that it echoes over to their wing of the fucking warehouse.
That's funny, man. That's hilarious. Yeah, man. I hope he gets it taken care of. Austin's he's talented, man. He could do some damage in that class.
Yeah. dude, and Sarah too. Like when I went down to Florida, like, man, like she does not know how big her name is. She has no fucking idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, Sarah, you're the fucking like face of women's arm wrestling. Like, you don't need anyone. They need you. Like, you could do your own thing, and you could make your own opportunities. Don't let anybody fucking try to control you or tell you what you can and can't do. Like, you're at that level. She's like the female level of like Devin and John and all those guys.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about her. She's so humble.
I know, dude. It's crazy.
I'll say,
like, shake her and be like, "Don't you know how fucking important you are to this sport?"
I can't tell you one time I've ever heard anything said bad about her either.
Dude, she's so nice.
Not once. When I actually messaged Mikey when we were doing the women round robin, and dude, I ain't gonna lie, when me and Chris was talking about it, we were like, Sarah would be the dream, right? If she would agree to it. And we kind of just, because I'd never talked to her before, I'm like, that's probably a pipe dream. Let's just be honest. And then Mikey reached back and was like, yeah, man. I was like, oh my God, dude, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, she's very down to earth.
And then
so is Mikey, both of them.
Oh yeah. So
they're fun to hang out with.
Very cool. We got her on the podcast one day, and I was so nervous, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, dude,
I was nervous meeting both of them. I'm like, man, I'm a nobody compared to these motherfuckers. Like, goddamn.
But then she talks to you like,
you're
a normal person. Like, she treats herself like a normal person, you know?
Yeah.
You don't get that a lot, man. You really don't.
It's crazy, dude. I felt like I was having to tell her to be more confident. And I'm like, this is completely backwards. You should be telling me that. And I was like, man, you got to just you got to come out. You got to just be Sarah. Like, you are the face of, like, she could be like whatever she wants. She has that power. And I feel like, I don't know if maybe she's like nervous to have that power, or she doesn't think she has it.
Yeah.
You know how you said you talked to an amateur and they're like, yeah, $500 and I'll be there, acting like a star. Dude, if anybody deserves to act like a star, it's Sarah, bro. Yeah. She's earned it, and she
could name her fucking price if she wanted to.
Yeah. And she don't act like it at all, man. She's very humble.
We had a pro come to the first Winter Blast. Just came, someone who's like a big social media star. And then the next time I was like, hey, are you coming this year? And they're like, yeah. But I need like $3,000 to come, just to show up, not to even have a super match or pull. And I was like, "No, we're good." Like, fucking, not gonna pay someone just to like show up.
Yeah. There's no return on that investment. Paying $3,000 for someone to come.
No, and bigger people ended up coming anyway.
Right.
So I'm like, at this point, like, people want to come to Winter Blast because they know there's gonna be a lot of fucking people there, and they want to test themselves. Hopefully,
yeah.
I mean, shit, dude. Some of our amateur classes were 30 people deep, like fucking like multiple ones. I was like, holy shit, dude, this is a lot of fucking people. Like,
to me, in my experience in holding events and watching other events, the best events happen organically, man.
Yeah.
You see big events that pop up where people pay people to come, but they're not lasting, man. They don't last over years. You don't see them happen for 10, 12 years. They, 1, 2, 3 years, and then they're gone because then they spend $10,000 bringing people in. And they, like you said, there's no return on investment.
Yeah. No.
It's keep doing what you're doing, Ryan. Do it organically. The people who want to come will come. And now look what you built. You built a badass tournament that everybody wants to go to. You ain't got to pay nobody.
The funniest fucking part about it is the whole part of the reason I started it was because I was like an amateur level, and like a lot of us amateurs at practice felt intimidated going to tournaments that were like all pros.
Yeah.
So I was like, why isn't there something for like us lower level guys? So we kind of started this whole concept and stuff. And then a lot of the amateurs were like, dude, I feel so comfortable coming to a 98 tournament because you guys are like, fuck the pros. You know what I mean? But now, because it's gotten so big, the pros come because it's a big tournament. So like starting out just kind of focusing on the lower level guys actually made the higher level guys want to come out.
Cool.
So now all levels come. So it kind of worked out good. But like you said, it happened organically. Like we just kind of started out as nobodies, and it just every year starting to get a little bit bigger, which has been pretty cool. Like now most people at least know like of us or know of Winter Blast or have seen something 98, which is cool. I mean, in this country anyway. I don't want to piss off eyebrows over there.
Every time you say something about him, I want to say stick to the script.
That's a
cue for you
Mikey's
to.
Like, you guys are like, oh, fuck, I'm going to get banned just being on here with Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
whatever.
It is what it is.
I think that's why Engen got mad, because like, say Engen's mad at someone like Sarah or Paul Lynn or fucking, he could really affect someone's fucking trajectory in the sport. He can't do shit to me. I'm not even a real arm wrestler. Like, he can't ruin my arm wrestling career because I don't have one. So I think he doesn't like that he can't control like someone at my level. And I don't think he like he, you know, when he did that post that was about 98 and like submissive to us, I just felt like that was stupid, because I'm like, he's up here. He doesn't have to look down at us down here. Like, we don't even go after the same demographic of people. We're not his competition at all. If anything, I would think 98 would be the perfect pool to grab from for some higher level stuff, to find better pullers and stuff, because the guys that win Winter Blast are fucking animals, because they just pulled in a 30-man fucking tournament and won. Yeah. And I'm like, that's the guys that should get chances and stuff. But he just like views us as an enemy of the sport, I guess.
That goes back to what I was saying, man. There's no need for qualifiers. There's enough badass tournaments in the country that he can hand select. Let's just be honest. If Engen came to you and said, hey, Ryan, you have a badass tournament, would you mind if I picked your winners to have matches? Dude,
I wouldn't even give a shit.
Freaking go for it, dude.
Dude, I'd feel honored. Yeah, I'd be like, dude, absolutely, fucking no resistance whatsoever.
Because to me now, when those qualifiers get it set up, it kind of dismisses the rest of the events.
Yeah.
It's almost like we don't matter.
Right.
Because, you know,
there's a lot of local talent that people don't know about, because there's these quiet guys that show up and smoke everyone and that you just don't know.
Yep.
So those are the guys that I feel like need some light shined on them in the sport. And that's kind of what me and Mikey are going to do this, like, What's Next for You podcast, just to shine light on, you know, pros, other guys that are up and comers, people that, you know, maybe don't go on social media much, that, you know, maybe they just need a couple stepping stones to get to some recognition and stuff like that.
Heck yeah, man. Y'all got a good concept going. I like it for sure.
We're going to try, man. But like Mikey, you know, like, I feel like we're on the same wavelength with like the sport. So like, that's the kind of guys I want in my circle. You know what I mean? So, and it sucks because a lot of guys come and go, you know, like they're all gung-ho at first, and then all of a sudden you see them veer a different way, and you're like, yeah, well, that sucks. But, you know, if you keep your circle tight and you get all guys on the same wavelength, I think great things can be accomplished.
I agree with that.
It's hard to do it on your own.
100%.
So it takes a village, I think, you know?
And the ones who veer off, you know, they never were in it for the right, you know.
Yeah.
I won't say never in it for the right reasons, but they didn't get what they wanted, right?
I mean, dude, some of this promoting,
man.
You know, and you two will know this, like promoting, it's a full-time job in itself. Like, I'm posting shit every fucking day, all day. You know,
and
pretty
it
much.
Doesn't happen overnight either. Like, how many entries was your first Winter Blast?
The first one, we had like 400 entries.
Oh, well, shit, never mind.
That's a bad example.
It does happen overnight.
All right, our first tournament had like 180.
Yeah, so you've over doubled it, you know.
Yeah.
Our first regular tournament was small.
That's still solid.
Winter Blast for some reason was big right out of the gate, but we had already see, everyone always asked me like how we got it to be so big, and it's because the 98 is a community and we built that first. So we had like a big community following before we ever threw a tournament. So our first 2 tournaments were just small ones, and they were during COVID, and you weren't even allowed to throw a gathering then. Like they were banning all these gatherings. So we called it the protest series. And when they showed up to shut us down, we were like, this is a protest. You can't shut it down. And we threw it at a police motorcycle club. So the police were like telling the township, like, fuck off, get out of here. And like they couldn't shut us down because it was a protest. So those were our first 2 tournaments, but they were smaller because of COVID, you know. So, but then when we did the first Winter Blast, it was like we were expecting like maybe 100 competitors or something, or even less. And it was like twice that. And we were like, oh my fuck, dude, what are we going to do? But we pulled it off. And then they've just gotten bigger ever since. Like now, the last one was 585 entries.
Dude.
I felt bad for the refs, dude. That was like 11 hours of reffing in one day. Dude, that's crazy. I felt bad for Sean and all those refs.
500 plus entries is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get one with 180 down here in the South, it's a good day.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard in like other parts of the country are so spread out, you know? So guys have to drive like 6 hours to go to a good tournament. Or here, it's like every weekend there's something within a fucking hour or 2 from me, almost every weekend.
See, to develop something like that down here, man, like that's what I'm doing in the December event. Like I've planned this since January, and it's all pre-register, prepay. Dude, it's 32 plus people per class. But dude, I've had to do that in a year advance to be able to pull off just 400 entries. You know what I'm saying? And like if you just throw a tournament, it's almost impossible to get that down here.
Yeah.
What's up, Nashville Arm Wrestling?
But it's caused us some fun rivalries. Like the guys from Michigan States were like, we're crushing you this year. And then, you know, they didn't. And then they were like, oh, next year. And we're like, yeah, right. You know, we go back and forth. Like it's kind of fun, like arguing about what the numbers are going to be. And
yeah,
fun rivalry, you know.
And that's
I think
cool.
it's gonna be bigger this year, dude. I'm kind of nervous because last year was enormous, and I think it's gonna be bigger this year because Arm Gods, they're doing all their super matches Friday night at Winter Blast, and then the next day is Winter Blast. It's like it's gonna be like a weekend of fucking craziness.
I think yours is what, March 22nd?
Yeah, 21st and 22nd.
Yeah, see, my event's a week later, but dude, I want to try and come. That'd
be awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Same with Mikey. I hope you guys can both
come. I'll be there.
Nice.
Sure.
I'll try my best, man. That's a tournament that, it's on
dude,
the
I wish I was good enough to compete in a tournament like Winter Blast. It's like I watch it and I'm like, oh man, everybody's having fun. I wonder what it's like to be a good arm wrestler.
Yeah, there's certain tournaments that are bucket list tournaments, man. That's
Same
definitely
here. Like I want to get out to like Sarah's was the first one I've ever traveled like far to. Like I want to hit some of the major ones. You know, like Michigan States and Arizona, and I want to hit some of these big ones.
I went out to Arizona State and
awesome?
I won that tournament. That was
nice
a tournament. I was lucky enough to win it.
Dude, the best part about traveling for stuff, like look, I went down, hung out with Mike and Sarah. Now they're going to come to Winter Blast.
Yeah.
When I pulled Paul in Arizona, all those Arizona guys came to Winter Blast the next year. Like you meet people and you become friends, and then they're like, oh, you came down and supported my event. I'm going to go support your event. And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Connections, brother. That's what the connections happen organically. If you hit me and I tell you, I'll come, man, but pay me. That's not an organic relationship, man.
Yeah.
It's not. The best ones are like, yeah, man, you ain't got to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Or like some connections and networking, like you can tell like the person wants something.
Yeah.
Or needs something.
Yeah.
And not that that's a bad connection either. Some of
Right.
those work out pretty good.
They have their
But
place.
it's better when it's like organic. Like I never really thought about traveling to go to all these events because I'm like, I'm not that good. But then like Mikey invited me down to the Sarah Bachman, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking go to this. And then I told Sue and Johnny, and they're like, I'm coming too. And we went down there with like 3 of us, and it was fun. You know, figures the guy I bring breaks someone's arm, but my bad.
You did what?
The guy Johnny that came down with us, Johnny Miller, awesome guy. He does a lot of our like social media stuff and does all like our behind the scenes, like, you know, fucking, you know, flyers and backgrounds and all that. He went down there and he got in a match and the guy's arm broke, and I felt, dude, he was like devastated, and Mikey and Sarah like soothed him and like made him feel okay about it, because he was like very like, oh my God, you know, which I'd probably be the same way. Like, just seeing arm breaks drives me fucking insane, dude. Like, it's not fun to see that and see people go through that. But yeah, he felt really bad about it. And then I always joke around. So I was like, figures like the guy I brought broke someone's arm. I'm sorry.
I have a story about a broken arm. So at my job, you know, I'm in my department, and there was a guy there, and he wanted to come arm wrestle, and he showed up to support the tournament, and he ended up arm wrestling, and dude, he beat someone who won nationals at his first tournament. And I was like, okay. And that dude turned around and called him back out. It's like, hey, let's have a match. Okay. And dude, the Friday before the event, our boss pulled us to the side and said, make sure y'all don't get hurt. And we're like, nah,
jinxed it.
Dude, he broke his arm, man. And I felt so bad. He missed work for 3 months, and it was a spiral fracture, so he had to put a rod in his arm. I felt so bad. I called my boss. I'm like, hey, yeah, it happened. So yeah, it sucks, man. I hate when arm breaks happen.
Yeah, it does suck, dude. I always feel bad. Whenever I hear about an arm break, I try to send that person like a free shirt or something.
Yeah.
Just to be nice.
Yeah.
Free arm.
He says he felt terrible when yeah, dude, that was rough at the round robin.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Bob's a good dude.
Felt bad. He knew it happened too as soon as it did.
Goes to show you that even, you know, the most experienced veterans in the sport are not exempt from injury.
Right.
It can happen, man, at any time.
Yeah.
We had a guy break his arm warming up. No pressure hardly. Warming up, man. I'm like, you could not make this up.
Dude, what about Tyler Noblet breaking both his fucking arms in like a month? Did you see that?
Who's that?
So Tyler Noblet, he was on some medication that he didn't know made his bones brittle.
Oh my God.
So he broke his arm in a competition, and then broke his other arm at like fucking a practice like 3 weeks later.
That would
two broken arms, dude. I'm like, I can't even, like, that was mind blowing to me, dude.
That'd probably be it for me.
I ain't gonna lie. Dude,
that might be it.
I can't imagine 2 broken arms at the same time.
Oh my God, dude. You can't even masturbate with a stranger.
Masturbate? You can't. How do you eat? How do you wipe your ass? Like, how do you fucking
Could
do
you
anything?
imagine?
My mind goes right to masturbate.
You imagine him going in the hospital with a cast? What'd you do this time? I did the same thing.
Yeah, dude. How'd you break your arm? How'd you break that arm? Like, same answer. Arm wrestling. Oh my God. He's a good arm wrestler too, dude. He's like fucking legit.
Damn.
But the medication he was on fucking made his bones brittle, and he didn't know. And then once he broke it, that's what they told me. They're like, what medications are you on? And they were like, oh yeah, that one makes your bones brittle. I'm like, dude, that makes me like, now I'm like, I look up every fucking any supplement I'm taking. I'm like, does this make your bones brittle? Like,
let me make the fine print here. Let's see. Sheesh.
That's crazy though.
That would be rough.
So bad.
That would be rough for sure.
Oh yeah. I love seeing though, like these guys that nobody knows, like a new arm wrestler, like 6 months in, and they're fucking smashing everyone. Like these fucking genetic freaks. I just love seeing that. I don't know why, but like when I see someone that like is that fucking level right out of the gate, I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Good for that guy, because
that's how Robbie Russell came in.
Yeah.
We were playing football, and I was wearing my arm wrestling shirt, and he was like, "Oh man, I want to try arm wrestling." And we went over to the picnic table, and I'm a decent pro, right? I'm a ranked pro, so I usually beat people in my hometown, no matter what the size is. Yeah. Dude, he freaking slams me, and I'm like, hold on a minute, this just don't happen. And he did it again. I'm like, oh, you might have something here. And I invited him to a tournament.
Yeah, I was like, you must have went right into recruit mode. Like,
I did.
Coming in, dude.
He came to the tournament and won the overalls, and I was like, yeah, bro, you're special. And I'll never forget, man. It was like our second practice, and he can tell you this. We were practicing, and he was beating everybody at practice, and we looked at him, and I was like, Robbie, I don't know why, but you're going to beat Craig Tillier one day. I just have a feeling. And, dude, he did, man. He beat him at Alabama State.
That's
maybe
crazy.
5-6 years later.
Oh, cool.
Awesome,
yeah.
man.
Guys like him and, like, Paul Lynn was good out of the gate. Guys like that, dude. I love seeing that shit.
Yeah.
Because that's not me. So I'm like, good for you, buddy. Like, good job.
Some people have it, man.
What happened with the drama with Robbie and Artem?
Basically, Artem has a sense of humor that's a little bit different,
Yeah. And Robbie's more quiet.
Robbie's quiet. And let's just be honest, things can be taken out of context online. When you read a comment, that's the world's worst. It just is. So it was about the East-West and people not getting matches. Well, I think it was Paul Passmore or something. He was talking about not getting an opportunity.
Yeah.
And Artem commented on it and said, why don't you quit fucking crying?
Oh.
And something about travel, you and Robbie and somebody, he named him.
He threw Robbie in there? Oh.
Yeah. And he said, y'all need to get your asses out and go travel or something like that. And Robbie kind of took offense to it a little bit,
Yeah.
But they're squashed. They've talked it out since then.
Yeah.
It's no.
It was funny seeing it go back and forth, like him saying, like, dude, you paint your nails and you carry around man purses, and I was like, oh god, that shit was hilarious.
Yeah, they talked it out at a practice, so that's good, man. It's always good. Artem, he's different, man. He's got a different sense of humor. Yeah. He don't care. He'll troll you. He doesn't.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I wanted to see a match. Like, hey, is this going to lead to something? What's going on here?
In reality, Mikey, there you go. First super match right there.
Yeah.
There's your match right there, bro. Robbie and Artem. Because they pulled so many times, and I promise you they're probably 50-50.
No shit.
That needs to go down. And in my opinion, East-West, great platform, the highest level. But there's no need for that match to happen at East-West. That's a North American match.
Yeah. Yeah. That could happen at any good tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ingen needs to throw a bone to these North American promoters and let that match happen,
But how much is Artem going to need to show up? No.
I don't know about that.
He might not need anything because if it's in Florida, he might be all right.
Yeah, I'll cover travel expenses.
There you go. That changes things.
Hey, how much did old buddy give you in the super chat? $5.71.
There we go. There we go, dude. We'll put that towards it. It's a start.
That'd be a good match, though. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I would too, man.
Because
Robbie's a beast, dude.
I don't think they've ever had a super match. They've always just met each other in tournaments and stuff.
Yeah. Dude, you know what's funny is our first Winter Blast, Uncle John came. Dude, he entered every class and like did well in fucking all of them. I was like, holy Christ, dude. I didn't, I viewed Uncle John just as like a podcaster kind of that arm wrestles.
No, he can pull.
He's an arm wrestler that podcasts.
Uncle John's cool.
He's a beast, dude.
He's a cool dude, man. I got to hang out with him.
He was tiny when he came. He was like skinny when he came. He was not like the big version.
Dude, he looks like you ever seen Small Soldiers?
Oh, yeah.
Bro, he looks like a freaking action figure, bro. Like when I walked up on him, I'm like, you don't look real, bro. You look like an action figure.
He was at a couple of the knuckles up too. Like he's just fun to hang out with.
He's very cool to hang out with, man.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, man.
It's crazy, like some of the people that show up to Winter Blast, like, because a lot of guys, you guys probably run into this, like people don't want to tell you that they're coming because they don't want people gunning for them. So like they sneak attack you. Like they're not going to your event page and hitting going.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like they just sneak in there so that no one knows they're coming.
Yep.
But it's cool to see the random people that show up, you know?
That's the fun of it, man.
Yeah.
That's how it used to be back in the day. There was no social media. You sent flyers in the mail, right?
Yeah.
You get them in the mail and you decide to go or not. You don't know who's coming and who's not.
Those fucking Northeast boards that everybody was on back then.
I remember the Northeast board, man. I remember it. Many times I've read drama on there.
Dude, and now it's like, you ever go and read some of the crazy shit on Reddit? Oh my God, dude.
Dude, I just now
Me too.
realized.
I'm like new to it, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? These people are crazy.
I need to dive into that. I haven't even.
Dude, yeah, you go down a rabbit hole on that, and you're like, wow. Like, you think Facebook has trolls. Fucking Reddit is fucking terrible because a lot of them can be anonymous. So they say the craziest fucking shit because they're not going to get punched in the face if someone sees them, you know?
Crazy.
This shit is funny, though.
So are you going to do super matches, Mikey? Like, is that something you're planning?
Yeah, I don't think at my next the 2 qualifiers I probably won't. I'll just put the focus on the tournament. But after that, yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to put that together. And I think Robbie Hardman would be a fun one.
Dude,
I think Mikey's going to do everything, dude.
All of it.
He should, bro.
Seeing how excited you are about this shit, it like excites me. You know, like, I'm like, yeah.
A good variety is a good product, man.
Yeah. It's like you said too. I think double elimination is probably the staple of tournaments. But I love when we can do different variations of, you know, the team event, maybe triple elimination, round robins, just kind of keep it fun. You know, as a puller, that double elimination gets old. You know, same team every time.
It does. Shakes things up too, man.
Yeah.
That's, you know, going back to the round robins, that was a big thing with us. Like, to me, you know, if I stepped outside of being the promoter of it, dude, it was very watchable. Because by round 3 or 4, you actually find yourself cheering for people. You know, you're like, dude, come on, man. You surprised me in them first 2. Let's see what you got in these next ones. And like, I feel like if, you know, we could only take it so far, right? You know, very small budget. But if someone really broke the round robins down and like, imagine between rounds, you were showing like behind the scenes footage or, you know, different interviews or just give it a, you know, shot of adrenaline, you know, the round robins could really be a TV product.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It really could.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, if it's a 2-hour product, you're seeing the same guys pull.
Yeah.
That's how you get your household names, man.
Yeah.
Because it's hard with like a regular tournament, like you do a live feed, but who's going to sit there for the full fucking 4 or 5 hours of a tournament watching it? Like nobody knows the people. You know, that, I mean, arm wrestlers watch it because we know what's going on, but non-arm wrestlers are not watching tournaments on a live stream.
No, and then even us, we still get bored of it.
Yeah.
You know, we'll put it on and we'll be doing something else too while it's on.
Yeah.
You know,
or like 10 people will go by and I'm like, I didn't know a single one of them.
Yeah.
You know, and
but
you're
if
like,
it's a product that people are like glued to the TV.
Yeah.
That's what we need more of, man.
Yeah. It's all
Awesome,
about like
man.
the energy too. Like you got to hype them up, you know, like some of these promoters, like having like a hype man or some like really interesting announcers. Like Brandon does a good job fucking announcing, dude. And you killed it at fucking the Sarah Bachman, dude. I was like, man, he's a totally different person on the fucking mic. Like he's talking in a different accent.
The atmosphere
is awesome.
The atmospheres are special, man.
Yeah.
My favorite was the 76 round robin when Hunter Knobs won, bro. It was just crazy because going into the final round, it was like round 9. It was like a 6-way tie. It was crazy. We were like, dude, how is this going to shake out?
Yeah.
And everybody, and you know, Hunter being who he is, he had his entire crew, And when he came to the table, the whole place exploded. It was just an atmosphere can create an event, man. It can.
That's so awesome. Yeah, I agree, dude. Because I've been to some events where it's just like you're in a fucking library and they're just, a bingo hall, dude. And they're just like, next, Joe, you're on deck. It's like fucking, like you're just like, there's no hype, no one's cheering. Like you need a guy to be like, like look at this battle on table 1 and fucking like hype it up. Like that makes all the difference in the world.
Yes, sir.
Because the crowd will be quiet if nobody's hyping them up. A lot of times they're quiet or they're not paying attention. You need to keep the attention on the fucking matches.
Yeah, no matter, you can tell them, let's make some noise. That don't work, man.
And you just get like,
you got to have organic, energy.
Yeah.
People.
Like, my goal is always to make our events fun because, like, the arm wrestling part takes care of itself. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna happen no matter what. You slap a brackets guy there. You have some refs. There's gonna be arm wrestling, but out in the crowd is where I try to make it fun. Like, we'll make fucking cardboard cutouts of someone and everybody fucking takes pictures with it and like defiles it or, like what I did with the Paul Italia. Everybody had a blast taking pictures with that cutout. Like,
that's funny.
So I can guarantee you at Winter Blast there's gonna be a lot of cutouts of Engen bouncing around.
Be careful, you might get a cease and desist.
Right? Yeah, dude, he might sue me. Who knows? Luckily, I have nothing for him to take, so I'll be like, you can have this cardboard cutout.
That's fun.
Yeah, I'm glad, dude. I'm glad like you were so willing to come on because our podcast is hit or miss. Because our Friday night one is crazy. Because once you hit like midnight, we're not talking about arm wrestling anymore. Like now it's fucking like crazy shit. And then we got Dave Kotlow sending in fucking weirdos. Dude, he goes in like the dad chats and puts our link. And all of a sudden, like some guy will come on and be like, hello, fellow fathers, how are you? And we're like, what the fuck? So we just play along like, hey there, dad. And then they start talking about being a dad. And then eventually they realize, this isn't a dad chat, is it? And we're like, no. And they're like, I'm going to go now.
Yeah, dude. I was
crazy.
More than happy to come on, man. Anytime. I'd be glad to come on here anytime, man.
Dude, he sent a woman in and she started like coming on regularly. And like 3 weeks ago, pulls her tits out on the show. Like I had to take it down. I was down in Florida. I was away and I'm like, getting text messages that this is happening. And I'm like, what the fuck? The one weekend I'm away and you let this happen? And fucking titties on the podcast. And I'm like, Jesus.
Dude,
so I hurried up and took it down before we got reported.
That Arm Wrestling Uncensored group chat that they got.
Crazy.
It's just
crazy.
It's a lot, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I've left that every time I leave that group, they add me back.
They suck you right back in.
And I'm like, dude, how many times do I have to leave this group? Please.
Yeah. Dude, they say some crazy shit in there.
They added me and Chris in there after all that drama that was on Facebook. And they're like, we want to know the details. And we're like, dude.
Just trying to fucking make you guys fight. Yeah.
We're like, man, that ain't us. And they're like, we don't care. We're the Real Housewives of Arm Wrestling. And we're like, oh my God, dude. Y'all ain't getting what you were asking for. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Crazy.
A lot of times they get it, though.
Yeah.
Nashville Arms. Ryan, send me the clip. Dude, and of course, Italia's on there, and he's like egging her on. And then Cole was on there, and he looked like this was the first time he ever saw tits. He's like all excited, and I'm like, and then Dave Shell, who's fucking 70 years old, the one weekend I go away and you guys let this happen.
He said, go get the Blue Chew. Sponsored by Blue Chew.
Dude, and then I don't know if you know Eric Harlan.
Oh my God.
Bro, he fucking literally stood up, pulled down his pants and spread his ass cheeks on the podcast with his like taint out, nuts hanging. I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Dude,
I had to
I
like take
talked
that
to you about
episode.
Eric. That dude was getting.
Fucking mental.
He was messaging me, blowing me up like, "Hey man, I think this could be a great match for your promotions. You need to get me and Ryan." I'm like, bro, I listen to Ryan's podcast
Never gonna
on a
happen.
weekly basis, bro. He wants no part of that because you're a fucking idiot. Like, I'm sorry.
I just
I'm cool with everybody, but
dude,
damn, dude.
the thing is like it could be a good match, but I just don't fucking like him, and I don't want to give him a platform.
Nah, yeah.
Like he doesn't deserve a match. Like he came on our podcast and said the N-word a couple times, and I'm like, dude, you did that shit on purpose. Like, I just have no respect for that guy. And then he started attacking women. I think he was fucking talking shit on Sarah at one point too.
Yeah.
And like Lucky and Liz, like all these people. And I'm like, dude, I just don't like this fucking guy.
It's when it gets personal, you know, that's a bit past personal, you know.
Yeah. But dude, he's always in that fucking AWE chat, dude. And that's the only person in there that, you know, when he starts talking, that I'll chime in and be like, "You fucking piece of shit, shut your fucking mouth." You know, like I just love trolling that fucking guy because he gets so mad. In Nanya, he gets real mad when I troll him. He'll leave the chat. But those guys are fucking weirdos, you know, like let's be honest.
I think that's the podcast I listened to one time was Eric and Nanya. I was like, I gotta see this, bro. What's going down here?
Yeah. Dude, and the funny thing is like I've tried to like clean it up a little and make it a little more of a serious thing.
Yeah.
And that has had a negative effect on it. Like everyone wants to see the fucking weird, crazy shit. But then I'm like, we're going to get shut down. We can't just keep having anuses and nipples on the fucking show. Like fucking, you know, and then no one's going to take us serious at all.
Create a Patreon. People will buy that, man. That might be a good way to get some subscriptions.
Arm Wrestling Patreon.
Hey, if that's what the people want, you know. That's crazy, man. That is wild.
Yeah, I just can't with that dude, man.
Yeah, there's certain people I just can't.
I mean, he passed out on our podcast and like fell into a coffee table and legitimately got injured.
What? Who?
Eric. He fucking was all drunk and all of a sudden he just fell over and you heard a loud noise and then he was just gone. The next day he was like, he got hurt. And then that chick that showed her tits, she kept falling out of her chair. And like some random person in the background kept helping her back into the chair and she fell out of her chair like 6 times. I'm like, she was drunk. And then like, she seemed okay. She left the room and came back and then was a wreck. And I'm like, what did she just go snort or fucking inject? And she came back and was just like fucking a mess, dude. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, this is fucking crazy. We can't have this shit on our podcast.
Yeah.
Mikey, you didn't hear any of that. He's like, what am I getting myself into? That's why we're going to have a more serious podcast interviewing people. And then the Friday night thing can be its own fucking crazy thing.
That's crazy, man.
Oh, man.
Definitely wild.
Yeah.
I do listen to your stuff, though, man. It's a good listen while I'm away.
Sorry to hear that.
I try to consume as much arm wrestling as possible, man.
Yeah. Once in a while, it's good, and we get some good content and good conversations going. Just like late night is when it gets crazy because like arm wrestling's no longer the topic.
Yeah, dude. I remember one time I clicked on your podcast and I was like, all right, let me kill this podcast before lunch. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's like 6 hours and 40 minutes or something like that. I'm like,
yeah.
Well, it's gonna be an all-day listen right here.
Dude, it's crazy. Like, I mean, just like this, like we thought we were gonna only be on for like an hour, and it's fucking 10 o'clock now. You know, like once you start talking arm wrestling, it's fun, you know. I can talk about that all day.
Yeah, of course.
But then like we hit like midnight, and now like all the arm wrestling talk is gone. And it's like now the weirdos start coming on, and then it just fucking goes to shit, dude. Crazy. But I mean, that's fun in its own way, you know.
Yeah. You need to start giving a public advisory. Are you or a friend suffering from substance abuse?
I was thinking that like it would be kind of fun to do that like late night, just go into random groups and put our link and just get weirdos on. But then I'm like, it's an arm wrestling podcast. Like that's going to turn a lot of people off. So I've been talking to Italia and a few other people. We might start a non-arm wrestling podcast because we feel like that might reach a larger range of people. And then if that generates money, we can put that money into arm wrestling.
That's actually smart.
So just do like a crazy podcast, like a Joe Rogan style with a bunch of us just doing crazy, get a hooker on and make her cry or, whatever. Fucking do some crazy shit and then use the funds from that for arm wrestling.
Dude, that's a good idea, honestly.
We'll see, but that's something me and Natalia have been talking about.
People like to hear from wild people, man.
Yeah, and Natalia's got that personality that would be hilarious,
Paul is the ultimate. He'll get something out of you.
Yeah, right. I mean, the titties came out because of Paul. Let's be honest. Paul got those titties out, dude.
Dude, we were on Paul's podcast when the 76 round robin was happening, and that was when it was me, Dalton Duncan, Austin Tevis, and Hunter Knobs. And then all of a sudden, Hunter Knobs and Austin Tevis starts talking shit to each other. And then turns out they make a tattoo bet. Austin says, how about this? Hunter, if you win the round robin, I get a tattoo of your team's name on my ass cheek. If you'll get my name on yours. And Hunter's like, you know what? It's a bet. And guess what? Hunter won the damn thing. And Austin Tevis got Carolina Chaos tattooed on his ass cheek right now to this day.
Dude.
That happened on Paul Italia's podcast.
You don't want the word chaos on your ass.
Nope. Well, Austin didn't make it to the round robin because he had a family emergency. And so Hunter ended up winning. And we were all like, are you going to follow through? And, it took him a while, but maybe like a month or two later, he took a picture of his ass cheek of him getting a tattoo, man. And he got it, man. He was a man of his word.
Hey, that's good, man. I got
to give respect. Not everybody would do that.
Right. I mean, I got enough bad tattoos. One more ain't going to kill me.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
So, Mikey, what's next for Sarah, man?
What's next?
Well, I know she was supposed to pull in Australia. I think there was a girl from New Zealand that benches some crazy numbers. Like, I want to say equipped, she benches like, it's sick, dude, like 750, 800, something like that.
Yeah.
Raw is like 450. But I think there was some issues finalizing it. So I'm not sure if that's still happening.
That was with AWE.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do me a favor, I always try to stay neutral, I'm cool with everybody, but due to the recent, dragging of me into drama, can she just put a whooping on Elizabeth, please? Hold on,
Mochek?
Yeah, did she not point her out at East West? I mean, Elizabeth didn't she?
No.
I think Elizabeth said she wanted Sarah, yeah.
Oh.
She must have meant Sarah Ray.
No, that's her bestie.
No, they're friends. Yeah.
I think she meant Sarah Bachman. She was going to go up a class.
Really?
I know that Sarah has offered any time that Elizabeth wants to pull, it's there.
Yeah.
I may be biased, but in my professional opinion, that's not a match.
No. I'm not saying it is, but, I think Elizabeth might be getting, I'm not taking anything from her. She's very talented. She's coming up quick.
And she's growing fast for sure.
But, I don't know. A lot of people were turned off by the way her antics were and all that.
Yeah.
Now we got to find out. Did she actually call out Sarah? We got to find this out.
I got the replay. I'm going to go back, but I'm pretty. Yeah. Was Sarah sitting front row at East West or no?
She was there, but there was some drama. We'll just leave it at that. That kind of pulled her out of the room at times, so she might have missed it.
Well, the only reason I say that is because in the interview, they asked her what was next, and Elizabeth said, well, there's a girl sitting front row that I might be chasing. Huh. So that's the only reason I thought that she might be meaning Sarah. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm reading into it too much, but.
Yeah.
Well, dude, there's
You
a
can
lot of
chase- You can
leagues.
chase somebody from miles away, though.
Yeah, for sure.
That's like me trying to arm wrestle one of you.
Oh no, I agree fully, but I would like, some humble pie to be served,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of everybody, but I got drug into some bull crap, and with that women round robin, dude, that was a nightmare, bro.
Oh, it was Angie Rose.
Oh, it was Angie. Okay.
There you
Okay,
go.
that makes sense.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, I'm sorry.
Just
Don't
called
mean
out
to
Angie as
spread
a joke.
misinformation.
There you go.
Well,
Liz
I'm just gonna
called out
let's just
Angie.
keep spreading the rumor that it was Sarah.
Yeah, why not?
No.
I'll be
You heard it here first, folks.
I know a promoter that would love to have that match at their event. So
Yeah, dude.
Oh, Lucky said she said it on the podcast that she did it as a joke.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
that would be a good match. I'd like to see Angie and Elizabeth pull.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then you pull Ron Bath.
I mean, I'm down, but I don't think I'm ready for that. Yeah,
Dude, I wasn't ready to pull Paul Italia.
That's crazy, man.
But yeah,
Well,
Paul's a stand-up dude, man.
yeah.
He gets a lot of hate in the sport, but he's a good guy. He's definitely all about the sport.
I think a lot of people came around on him too, because
Yeah.
maybe early in the beginning, people
Yeah.
kind of like, oh man, who the hell is this guy? I think he could but no, I think he's kind of actually felt the community out and actually understood what the sport is and actually understood what the people are about. And you can tell the difference. There's a big change. And yeah, I have a ton.
I think he wasn't used to, like he comes from like a different background where, you talk shit, you get smacked up.
Yep.
And in arm wrestling, there's a lot of like poking fun and trolling. That's just, if you're not used to that, you take offense to it. Like he was offended by a lot of stuff in the beginning, and now he just lets it roll off.
Yeah.
Where in the beginning he took him, like even when I was like going back and forth with him in the beginning, I'm just doing funny memes of like him and Travis, and he was getting mad. Now he wouldn't even give a shit, And I think he grew a lot from learning, and he started taking arm wrestling more serious too, and proved that he's a good arm wrestler.
Yeah.
Who was it? You that had the Paul Italia cutout?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it the picture of some? Yeah. You know where I'm going.
Dude, I would like slide it under like the bathroom stall and be like, "You pervert," and like make videos of it and send it to him and stuff like that. But now we're friends. I wouldn't do that,
dude.
I like
Paul. I like Paul, man. He's a good dude.
Well, because I invited him to a tournament. Like we were having beef online, and I was like, "I invite you to our tournament," and he was like, "I'll never go to a 98 tournament." So I made the cutout, and I was like, "Oh, look, Paul's here." So like he was at all our tournaments. But then Tim Bresnan like molested him in a video.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah,
that's what I
he
seen.
made it look like he was blowing him, and then that caused a lot of problems.
Tim Bresnan's a wild one too, man.
Dude, he's a great guy.
He lives down here with us, man, in Tennessee now.
Yeah.
He's a funny dude.
He's been like really good friends with Sue Fisher for like 30 years. So like he always comes to Winter Blast and like either refs or helps out.
Yeah.
Like he's just such a good dude. He's so down to earth and laid back, and he's got the funniest fucking stories. He's got great stories.
Oh yeah, for sure.
One time on the podcast, dude, he pulled out a gun on the podcast, and I was like, "Oh my god, dude, we're gonna get shut down!" Like this shit is crazy.
You have some wild ones on, brother.
And
so, who y'all got lined up next for this series?
For Winter Blast?
No. I mean, this podcast, like.
Oh, well, I don't know. We didn't even really start it yet. This we planned this with you before we even decided to do this other what's next series.
Okay, so I'm the inaugural.
Yeah, you're like the test round,
Dope. Dude, get Hunter Knobs on, bro.
Would he come on?
Yeah, dude. Hunter will come on. Just you gotta you got to make sure it's, you know, he works a lot, but yeah, dude, if he's free, he'll come on, and he's a freaking good interview, bro.
Cool.
Very entertaining. Got a great personality, man.
Good. Dude, he comes on and one of the co-hosts is a cardboard cutout of him. Freak him out.
Maybe I'd say Robbie would come on. Get Robbie.
Yeah, he's been on our podcast before, way back, like when he had a match at Winter Blast.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had some big names on in the past. It's just like for a while there, we stopped doing the interview stuff and just like let it be a free for all.
Yeah.
But that whole free for all thing is what really like built our community. So
yeah,
you know, people coming on and hanging out from all over the country.
There's definitely a place for that.
Yeah.
You got a big enough platform where you can do multiple, though, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And that's why I was like, I thought of Mikey. I'm like, dude, we could do like a fucking interview one and make it more serious like this. Still fun.
Yeah.
Just there won't be titties on it, hopefully, and fucking anuses.
I don't know, bro. Mikey's
You never know.
Pretty damn close to coming off, man.
Oh, dude.
Pretty close.
We have all kinds of like weird inside jokes too. Like Dave Shell like once measured his areolas. So then like when this chick took her shirt off, we were like, she has to take a measurement so we can compare him to Dave Shell's nipples. You know, like it was just crazy, dude. But yeah, a lot of inside jokes on the 98 show.
Dude. I mean, you could probably have like an uncensored type tournament, man, and I bet that thing would blow up.
You know, like topless arm wrestling.
You'd have to have an invitation only, man. Like, you know, not open to the public.
Yeah. Dude, the coolest thing about our last tournament is we had it at like a restaurant bar.
Yeah.
And they have like a huge venue section with a stage, and all the waitresses that work there, bunch of like good-looking women, jumped in the tournament, and fucking the crowd went crazy because they were, you know, they never arm wrestled before.
Yeah.
And they were like arm wrestling each other to like settle disputes at work. It was fucking hilarious, dude. The crowd went crazy over it.
That's badass. We had something similar, but not to that scale. But back in the day when my dad held the tournaments, he had Red Bull as a sponsor. And so they would pull up Red Bull, would bring a truck, and they'd pass out Red Bulls. Well, it was Red Bull girls, right? In short skirts.
Yeah.
And they jumped in the tournament, and like, that was everybody's favorite part of the tournament.
That was the best. Like, that was the craziest part of the tournament. Everyone was cheering them on, and then like some people had their like daughters in the crowd, and then they jumped in to try to beat the waitresses and shit. It was crazy.
That's cool.
And now a lot of those girls now, we like directed them towards like the closest practice. You know what I mean? So some of them are going to start actually like arm wrestling.
Yeah, man. The more growing, the better, bro.
Yeah. Definitely, dude.
We need more women arm wrestlers for sure.
We totally do, dude. It sucks when you go fucking do like 6 classes for the women and trophies, and then like 2 girls show up.
Well, I made a comment about women arm wrestling because, you know, I'm a supporter of women arm wrestling, right? I mean, we held the round robin. We gave the same exact payouts as we did the men. But I did make a comment, and some people took offense to it. And I don't think it was disrespectful. I said that the women talent pool is shallower. And I don't think that's disrespectful. I just think that it's not as deep because there's just not as much women, right? I'm not saying that the women at the top aren't talented because, dude, they are, you know, they're the highest level. But like, how many women can we realistically send to East West? I mean, honestly, you know, a handful, right?
Yeah.
When you talk about the men, there's probably 100 we could send.
Yeah.
When there's women, there's a handful, and we need more, you know?
I agree.
And there was a couple women that took that as disrespectful, and I'm like, man, I'm not, that isn't me being disrespectful. That's just me telling you that, you know, the pool needs to get deeper. It does. Like, we need more women.
Part of the reason too,
more names.
Part of the reason too, and I don't know if you guys run into this in your areas, a lot of the promoters up here do like 2 weight classes for the women. And so the ladies that are like 130 are like, I'm not coming to pull a 180-pound
Yep.
And then they just don't come. So we saw that, and you know, Sue Fisher's my partner, so, and she's like 130 or something, you know, so she's like, we need to do more weight classes than these other guys. And since we've started to do that, more women are coming out. So we'll do like the same amount of weight classes as for the men, you know, and if they come, they, you know, the first few, no one came, of course, and we got a shit ton of extra trophies. But eventually, when the women started realizing, like, oh, they have my weight class now, that's what made them come out.
That's smart.
Think, like, a lot of people do, like, you know, 0 to 160 and 165 and up.
Yeah.
That's not, I mean, would you go arm wrestle if it was like 200 and under and 200 over? Like, you'd be like, nah.
That's a good perspective, because I'll be honest, like at our tournaments, we've been doing open weight for the women. The only reason we did that is because, you know, in the past, 2 women show up, you know, and that it sucks.
Yeah. We had to eat a lot of trophies at first.
But that's a good perspective. I'm going to look into that too. I might follow that same route, honestly.
Yeah, I think once they find out that you have a few more weight classes for them, they start to come out.
That's smart.
Because there's a lot of women that just completely stopped arm wrestling because all the tournaments up in the Northeast were like, you know, two weight classes for the women, and that's it. And it's like the 130-pound girls, that's not fair.
Yeah.
And then you got girls showing up that are like, you know, 280, and they're going against a girl that's 165 or something, and they just stopped coming. They kind of killed it.
It's almost like, you know, we as promoters don't look at it as that big of a difference, but it is, you know.
It is.
I wouldn't. I'm a 54, and
would you pull a fucking 200-pound guy, dude?
No.
Yeah.
So why do I look at women as the same? And yeah, that's a dumb reason for me to look at it like that.
Yeah, but it happened. So like, and I think it's because of the lack of consistent turnout from the women that makes promoters go, well, dude, I'm not buying fucking, you know, $150 worth of fucking medals and no one shows up or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's helped us anyway with Winter Blast. And then we actually did payouts just for the women at the last Winter Blast, and a bunch of women came out for it. So I think that helped too. You know, we got to build it up. Like men have, you know, because there's a bigger pool for men, they're the ones that usually get like the payouts and the cool trophies, and the women kind of fall to the wayside.
Yeah.
And I think they need to be treated the same. And then I think that will help a lot.
I agree with that.
Oh, hold on. What do we got here? Lucky with a $4.99 super chat. Tell Laray I'm siding with whoever gets Scarlett a 138 class and out of mine.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to look into adding more classes for sure. I'm glad you said that.
It definitely made a difference.
Yeah, you changed my perspective for sure.
It takes a little time, though.
Yeah.
You know, because you got to get the word out, and they got to see that you're consistently doing it, and then they start coming back out.
I will say it does seem like the women are growing. You know? I don't, you know, the popularity of the sport, you know, Lucky's got a podcast. I think
they got a great podcast.
Yeah.
I watch it every time, dude. I love it.
Yep. So yeah, that's good to see. It is. We need more.
I think it's definitely growing.
Yeah.
You know, and even for new pullers, like what, you know, like say 5 amateur girls show up and you only got 2 weight classes. What do the promoters do right away? They combine the fucking classes and just have one big fucking open. And then you got these amateur girls losing to a pro or like a much higher level female, and then they never come back.
Yep, you're right.
Like, that wasn't fun.
You're right, man.
So I try to put myself in their position and go, man, I wouldn't want to fucking pull. Well, I don't have that problem, but if I was 154, I wouldn't want to pull me.
Yeah.
Well, that's still a bad example, but you know, like I wouldn't want to pull like a 200-pound guy if I was 154.
Right.
And that's kind of the same with the women. Like a 130-pound woman doesn't want to pull a 160-pound woman. They're giving up 30 fucking pounds.
Great perspective. That's a great perspective. Great way to explain it.
We'll see what happens. And that, I mean, that's luckily I have a female that's my partner on Winter Blast, so I get her perspective. You know, that's good to have. But it made me open my eyes too. Like, you're right. Like that is a problem. And I think that happens a lot. So
for Winter Blast 2025, I know you said Arm Gods is going to do Friday night. Are you doing separate super matches or just Arm Gods?
We decided not to because Winter Blast is so big.
Yeah.
That to do like the Paul Italia Nanya match was a fucking shit show mid-tournament. And I'm like, dude, if we stop this tournament to do this, we're going to get fucking mauled by the crowd. So, and it was, Nanya pulled all his antics and pulled a fire alarm, all this crazy fucking shit, too. Nobody even blinked an eye, dude. I'm like, I hope there's not a real fire because no one moved and just kept on fucking arm wrestling.
That's freaking insane, dude.
Yeah. So after that match, dude, and Hancock goes, dude, that was the toughest match I've ever fucking reffed in my life. He said they like neither of them would listen. They kept fighting each other. He was like, I'm never fucking. So I made the decision there, like, Winter Blast is big enough now where we don't have to do super matches at Winter Blast.
Right.
And then Arm Gods wanted to team up. Like, maybe if we weren't doing it with Arm Gods, I'd do some Friday night.
Yeah.
But never the same day again. It's just too much.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be cool, though, having Arm Gods do their stuff. And then I've been talking to Knuckles Up. We might work something out where, like, the winners of Winter Blast get an opportunity at Knuckles Up. Also, so like
nice.
That could be cool too.
Any promotions that has like that entry of like, yeah, you win this, you're getting to that next big stage. Because let's be honest, Knuckles Up, bro, they're doing it, bro, and they're in my eyes are on the same level as East West. They're just not getting those high level. I mean, I'm not high level. They're not getting the Devons and stuff.
Well,
but
they're getting soft blocked when they try to get those guys.
Right. But in my eyes, they're the same. Like, they're the same as East West.
Bro, I don't know if you noticed, but the East versus West this time, the way they set it up was identical to the first fucking Knuckles Up.
Yeah.
And they never did it like that before. So I was like, Knuckles Up is onto something because people are starting to copy them. And it is what it is, but I gotta support Knuckles Up. They're my local fucking, awesome fucking promotion,
I remember when they first came out and I ordered that. I was like, dude, this is their first event, and it's like
I felt the same way. Yeah.
Dude, you know why they're so lucky too is they got a guy on their team, Joe. He owns a fucking promotion company or a production company that does all that fucking shit. So they don't have to spend like $200,000 for production value. Like, they have it in house, and he's a super awesome dude, and like hooks them up, And he, he does amazing things. He does like concerts, fucking big weddings, all kinds of shit. So he's got all that equipment, which is fucking awesome. That's why they were able to just do that right out of the fucking gate. And I'm like, man, this is badass.
Sometimes it's about who you know, brother.
Yeah.
And they offer his services to people that are doing Arnold's qualifiers if you want to use like that guy to do some of the production stuff.
Yeah.
We can't afford it, but it's a cool option.
Yeah, I've had phone conversations with them. Yeah, they're offering a lot of cool stuff.
Just the fact that, like, when I first like paid for it to do the thing, me and Dave Shell were talking about it, and Dave sent them the money that we needed to send, and they were like, "Oh, we cover trophies too." I was like, "What? That's crazy." That's like half the money you paid them coming back to you in in medals. And the medals are cool. I was like, that's badass on their part to do that because they're giving back. Where like some of the other big promotions, like if you have to pay to be a qualifier, you're not getting fucking free trophies probably, So they're really doing some awesome stuff.
Yeah, it's well worth what they're offering for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait, dude.
They got it going on.
Mikey, did you get your flight? What time are you coming in?
Yeah, it's booked. Originally, I was going to come in, I think, around like noon. Yeah. I didn't realize it started at 1.
1, yeah.
I think I'm landing now at 10. 10 in the morning.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because you got to come to the meet and greet, dude.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's the fun part, too. Dude, the funnest part is like, you know, like sometimes I go to their meet and greets and I'm like, I'm a huge fan of these arm wrestlers. And they come up to me and they're like, you're that 98 guy, or you're that guy that did that rubber band video. And I'm like, man, how do they fucking know who I am? Because like, we don't get a whole lot of viewers on the 98 podcast, you know?
Right.
But people watch and people notice like weird videos like that with the rubber band thing. Like people see that and they're like, they recognize me from the weird stuff.
Dude, something I realized, you know, being a promoter, people that you don't think see your stuff sees it. You know, even when I went out to Arizona, dude, I've never been west of the Mississippi River, bro.
Yeah.
When I went out to Arizona, I had so many people coming up to me saying how, you know, much of a fan. I was like, dude, this is freaking awesome, man. Like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it was. It was awesome.
It's fucking nuts that it's like that, but it is. And it's funny. Because it makes you realize that you don't have to be a top level arm wrestler to be known in the sport.
Right.
Like when I put out that rubber band video, I didn't even arm wrestle yet. I hadn't even been to a practice yet. And that went viral. Like Devin shared it. And
Dude,
I was like,
that video popped up on TikTok the other day. I was like, look at Ryan.
I mean, it's embarrassing, but it's a funny video.
I mean,
but it went viral in the arm wrestling community because it was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But like as a non-arm wrestler, when I was watching arm wrestling, I'm seeing like guys like saying they gotta hit every vector and this and that. They had like 3 bands, and I'm like, oh dude, I'm gonna make a spoof video of this and fucking hook myself all up. And it, you know, it worked out. And that's kind of like what got me known in the arm wrestling community. And then I wasn't even arm wrestling yet.
How many bands did you have connected
I don't know.
to your body, bro?
I don't know, dude. What, dude? Like the Russian guys that don't really have like, they're not like sarcastic, like they don't get it. Were messaging me, going, like telling me like that was unnecessary and like fucking, you don't need a rubber band in your mouth and you don't need one on your head. And I'm like, yes, I'm aware.
It's like, hey, bro,
yeah, you're doing this all wrong.
That rubber
they were trying to correct, or like when I took, you know, like the Mazarenko egg. So, you know, you hook that up to weight and you use the egg or whatever. I turned it upside down and just held the strap and was just pronating the weight of just the egg. And all these dudes are hitting me up going, bro, you're doing that wrong. That's not how you use that tool. And I'm like, oh, really? Like, no shit, dude.
Oh my God. Dude, that's funny.
But that's kind of how I got started in the arm wrestling community. Like when I went to my first practice, people already had seen the rubber band thing and like recognized me. And I was like, what the fuck? This is crazy.
Hey, look at you now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm even worse at arm wrestling now than I was back then.
No, bro. Torn rotator cuff, remember?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, I'm still gonna have to pull it knuckles up.
You're a new man now. How long of recovery you got to do?
I don't know, dude. I had a major setback. So when I was 6 weeks out of surgery, they fucking had me go do an MRI of my wrist for some reason. And I got into this fucking tube, and the lady reached in from the other side of the tube and grabbed my wrist and stretched my arm all the way out, like fully extended like that. And I fucking screamed, and I was like, what the fuck? My arm doesn't do that. I just had surgery. And since then, it's like I fucking went back 2 months in PT.
Wow.
Like I can't even do half of what I was doing a month ago.
Damn.
So that is kind of a setback. That kind of sucks.
That's unfortunate.
But I'll still use it as an excuse.
Well, yeah.
When there's a video of me and Mikey arm wrestling, I'm going to put like, the only reason he's pinning me is because of my rotator cuff surgery.
Yeah. People's use worse excuses, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I didn't get any sleep last night. That's the worst part of rotator cuff surgery, dude, is not being able to sleep. Like, you just like the minute you fall asleep and something twitches and it hurts, you're fucking wide awake and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then of course you're grabbing your phone to check, you know, like check if anybody's like promoting something that you need to fucking look at. And then you're stuck on your phone for 2 hours, then you doze off again, and then the same thing happens. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, we did not mean to keep you on this fucking this
Oh,
long.
dude, I'm vibing, bro. Dude, y'all are good.
I'm sorry, man.
All good. I'd be glad to come on anytime, man. Anytime
Dude,
y'all
yeah.
anytime y'all are just like, man, we ain't got no way. Come on, hit me up, bro. I'll come on and chat it up with y'all, man.
Come on a Friday night if you dare.
Mikey, you gonna join me in on that?
I think am I on tomorrow? I think I am, right?
You could be.
Yeah, I think so.
I might have to join in on one time. I don't know if I
Well,
can
tomorrow's the Friday night.
Yeah.
And then we're on, me and Mikey are on the lucky. Are you on that too? We're on the lucky ones one for promoters on Saturday night.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I don't think I am.
Me and Mikey are there's a bunch of promoters that are gonna be on it. It's all like timed out. She's super organized. Like
I've been on there before, but
yeah. So we're going on there. I think it's like promoters that promote a lot stuff for women too.
Yeah.
So we're jumping on that Saturday, and then we want to launch our what's next for you, which is going to be similar to like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and we're going to try to keep it around an hour, but man, once they start though, it's hard to stop.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's a good time. I mean, dude, like you said, I like listening to Joe Rogan, and dude, he goes for 4 hours, you know?
Yeah.
And before you know it, you
Oh,
think,
dude, he does that MDMA and then gets on these tangents of like fucking like diving deep into like fucking astral travel or something crazy.
yeah, he makes you change your whole
He has
outlook
good guests though. I still think it would be funny to have a bunch of us arm wrestlers do a non-arm wrestling podcast and just get crazy.
For sure.
You know, make some strippers cry.
Hey, if anybody can do it, you can, brother. You got that going on.
Probably more so Paul. He'll make them cry for sure. He'll talk about their daddy issues.
Hey, whenever this happens, let me know. I'll be tuning in and watching.
Nice. It's coming, dude. It's coming.
Yeah, man. If y'all need any help, like, you know, lining people up or whatever, any suggestions, just hit me up, man. I can see if I can help y'all out. And
yeah. That'd be cool, man.
Or whatever.
Dude, I'd love to do some sort of collaboration with all you guys, you know?
Yeah, man.
I told Mikey, dude, you're on the East Coast. You got Florida. Take over Florida. Start moving north, and we'll start moving south, and we'll take over the whole East Coast.
Yes, sir.
And we got Knuckles Up on our side. It wouldn't be hard.
Nope.
You know?
I mean, in reality, that's probably what should happen, you know? And it isn't about a takeover. That's not it. People would have that wrong idea, but it's about, you know, just growing something bigger.
See, like, I want 98 not to be like a league per se, more like an umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like East versus West is kind of like an umbrella, more like a large eyebrow. But 98, I want to be like an umbrella.
Bro, your timing, bro, is freaking impeccable, man. Anytime, man. I'm telling you.
Stick to the scripts.
Mikey's gonna, when we get off this, he's gonna be like, too much attacks on Engen, dude. Calm down. But like I want 90. Like we got teams like Josh Berger has a team, right?
Yeah.
So they have their team shirts, but they put 98 on the sleeves. Like I want 98 to be like an umbrella where like people are like, hey, I'm a 98%er, and they're proud that they're in the 98% because they're the guys going. Like, let's be honest, the guys coming to our tournaments are 98%ers for the most part. Yeah. So I like the idea of 98 just being like a concept. Like we don't have to be a league or take over anything or control anything. I just want it to be like a tool for promoters.
Yeah.
And a way for all us 98% guys to like bond in our lack of eliteness. You know, there's plenty of guys that fucking focus on the elite, you know, like fucking East versus West, knuckles up, this and that. We do not compete with those guys at all. I mean, we do have elite guys that come to like Winter Blast, stuff like that. But our normal tournaments, like everyday tournaments, are just, 98%ers for the most part.
Yeah, dude, I'm all for that, man. Like, you have when you're a promoter, you have your sponsors, right, and your orders. But I made a graphic a while back. I was just like, man, if you have a club, send me your logo, man. I'm gonna put it on this flyer. No money needed. I just want a visual of all the clubs. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't have to be a troll thing. It just kind of shows unity and support of each other. It's not really one control of the other. I missed that comment. I didn't get to read that. I'm sorry.
Sorry. There you go.
Oh, not for okay. All right, Lucky. That sounds good.
Maybe
good.
I made him feel left out. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I don't know. Do you feel left out now, Ryan? Like he gets his own night? We're just going to deal with the rest of the promoters?
Fuck, Lucky? Why are me and Mike thrown in with a whole crowd of people?
That's funny, dude. That's funny. But no, man, you keep doing what you're doing, bro. 98's growing.
Thanks, man.
A good brand. Mikey, you keep doing what you're doing. Pro Gear is going to take off. I have no doubt that it'll be one of the biggest, baddest brands, promotions in the country, man.
I agree, dude.
Y'all are killing.
That's why I wanted to have you on to see like where you're going next. And I knew about the Tennessee thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm sure you're going to run with that, dude, and make it. It's already great, and I always hear good things about it. I'm sure you're going to make it even better.
Yeah.
So I can't wait.
Down to work with other people, man. I know I said I was going to kind of take a step back, but dude, if the opportunity presents itself, I'm always down to collaborate with people.
Nice.
Anything I can do to help, anything, man. I'm always down.
That's how it should be.
I love
it. Dude, like even the people that don't like 98, we still promote their shit.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's for the pullers. Like, pullers deserve opportunities. And if I don't promote everything, like Dave Shell makes a list of everything in the Northeast, even the guys that don't like us, because, especially with the air system, like I want guys to go out and get points. And you shouldn't have to pick or choose a tournament because the promoters don't like each other.
Right.
Like, who cares? Like, my problem shouldn't be fucking anybody else's problem. So
that's
we just promote everybody.
Like, there's enough room for everybody, like even tournaments, that are on the same day, I don't care, dude. I'll share. Actually, me and Mikey, we had this tournament on the same day, but you know what? I still that crap, I still shared it.
Yeah. And a lot of us are far enough away where there's no overlap anyway. Like, what are you going to lose? Maybe one or two people that might have gone. Like,
it doesn't have to be a competition against each other.
Right.
It's a overall.
And that's why I did the floor. Like, I did the 98 state groups. Like, so if I see Mikey post something, I'll go share it in the Florida group. Or if I see someone in a certain state, like a lot of people will post something in 98, but they're from like across the country.
Yeah.
So like someone from Arizona posts something in 98, I'll go share it in the Arizona group and the surrounding ones. And I'm hoping though in the future that the promoters will start doing that on their own.
Yeah.
So that they use it for what it's intended to be for. Like, I'm not trying to throw tournaments in Tennessee, but it's a tool for you to use. Like, use that group, post all your shit in that group. That's what it's for.
Yep.
So, hopefully people will start using that and promote to the demographic of people that will actually show up at the tournament.
Yeah, man.
And I see these fucking, like we have like a Northeast group and people from like all over the country posting it. And I'm like, who's really going from the Northeast to fucking a California tournament?
Yeah.
Unlikely. So that's what made me think, like, wouldn't it be cool if there was a way to target like the states you want to fucking, and I was like, well, why don't we just make a group for every fucking state? And now 13 countries have reached out saying they wanted one. So now we got like 98 Canada, 98 fucking India, 98 Africa. Like, it's just like blowing up.
Did we do Puerto Rico yet? 98 Puerto Rico?
I just made one like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, so start using it.
I need to.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the right idea, bro. I mean, as a promoter, that's what our jobs are for.
Yeah.
We're just here to grow the sport.
I do like you guys. Like when we throw a tournament or we do something, before I'm even home, I'm like, okay, how could that have been better? Or what could I learn from that? Like, what could I correct for the next one? I mean, things happen. Some things you can't control.
Yeah,
sure.
But there's always stuff that you can improve on.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I look at it. Like, all right, or I go to other people's tournaments and I'm like, that's a fucking great idea right there. Or man, I wouldn't have done that. So I'm not going to do that at mine because it didn't work out here. Or I use them as like a teaching lesson when I go to things.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm sure you guys do the same thing. I mean, every promoter probably, thinks the same way.
Oh yeah,
as far as that.
For sure, man. For sure.
But man, thanks for coming on, dude. This was fun.
Of course, man.
Now I'm so excited about this like series of podcasts.
Yeah.
Just to really pick someone's brain one-on-one. You know what I mean? Like a lot of podcasts have like 6 people on it. So you don't really get to focus on the one person that is the one we want to learn about,
It's hard when you have that many people,
Yeah. And then you always get some retard that talks over people.
Yeah, you got to have the flow for sure.
Oh, dude. On the Friday night one, I just fucking mute people because like some of these guys come on and they just fucking talk over you. Or they talk over everyone and you're like, oh, I can't have this, dude. This is fucking crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Y'all keep doing it. And
thanks, dude.
Of course, man.
And hey, anything you need in return too, like, the offer for help works both ways. So if there's anything we can do, and feel free to use our groups, and maybe we'll all collab on something, dude.
We'll put that in the works, man. Maybe 20.
We'll take over the whole east side of the United States.
Let's do it, brother.
But all right, man. I'm gonna end this. So
all right,
thanks everybody for watching. FTG.
Appreciate y'all.
You guys.